Chapter 2873 Lian Wuchao. Chapter 2873 Lian Wuchao. I'll wait for you to come out. Long Fei immediately pulled Lan Mai behind him. The phoenix cloth on his body had very strong defense, but it would still not be able to defend against an expert. Furthermore, just now, one of Lian Wuchao's palm attack had nearly heavily injured her. If he had another palm attack, the armor on Lan Mai's body would probably have been ripped apart. The armor needed improvement. Lan Mai's breathing became ragged, and he said, "His power is so strong. Lian Wuchao has become much stronger in this period of time. It seems that even the venerable powerhouse is not his opponent. You should be careful," Lan Mai said worriedly. Long Fei also felt extremely depressed. His cultivation was no longer at the god's elephant state in the Night Valley. He could break through and enter the Saint Realm. Moreover, the aura on his body was very different. It was as if there was an extremely powerful force in his body. Just as Lan Mai had said, it might not even be a match for him in the senior realm. Lian Wuchao's eyes swept across them, and stared coldly at Long Fei. "You dog, you still dare to return to the East Imperial City, to return my grandfather's life." Zhong Xian narrowed his eyes. The aura on his body abruptly shrank. His figure disappeared from where he stood. No one could see him, not even his shadow. His speed was extremely fast. What astonishing speed. It's only been a few days since he defeated the level 1 instructor of the Supreme Realm in Donghuang College. His cultivation seems to have become much stronger again. This time after coming back from Night Valley, he has completely changed. Did you see that? He doesn't even use his magical Kylin blood strength anymore. Long Fei's muggle is about to lie on the ground and become a dead dog. Lian Wuchao changed every day, and his strength already made some people feel fear. Because his speed of breakthrough was simply too fast. Lian family relied on his own strength to advance to become a noble in East Imperial City. How strong was he? Long Fei was secretly shocked. It happened faster than I thought. It looks like he also had a fortuitous encounter. And then, Long Fei thought back to the time when Lian Wuchao had left the Night Valley. Lian Wuchao's chest had been pierced, then the purple crystal. Could it be that the purple crystal has shifted from Han Wuya's body to his? The violet gold armor fragments came from the shrine. The power of the god's tribe was completely different from normal powers. Even the power inside a piece of metal could cause a change and not be stiff. It was as if he had been possessed by the devil. Han Wuya died, but the purple crystal that pierced Lian Wuchao's body came to life. Otherwise, even if Lian Wuchao had a magical Kylin blood S, it was impossible for him to recover in such a short period of time. There was only one possibility. He had absorbed the power of the amethyst battle armor. Moreover, the only difference between him and Han Wuya was that he seemed to have reached some sort of agreement with the amethyst battle armor's fragments. He had not become a monster like Han Wuya, but he was able to wield the power of the amethyst armor. "Be careful," Lan Mai shouted anxiously. Long Fei's eyes darkened. At that moment, green scales began to appear on his body, as if dragon scales were growing out of his skin. It directly covered Long Fei's entire body. His pupils had also turned green. Long Fei clenched his fists. Wang. When the strength stripes burst out, a dragon's roar sounded in the air. And at this moment, Long Fei's body bowed slightly, and in the next moment, he let out a whoosh. The figure disappeared as well. Boom. The next second, there was a loud noise in the air, and both bodies bounced off. Su. It landed on the roof of 2 buildings. Long Fei said blandly, "Han Wuya has turned into a monster, but you did not. It seems like you are smarter than Han Wuya. You actually reached an agreement with the god's tribe." Lian Wuchao's eyes slightly twisted, and tightly stared at Long Fei. Your body should also have god's tribe's power, right? Seems like what you obtained last time in Night Valley was far more than just a flying sword. With just you, trash from the general level, getting the treasures is a waste. Why don't you give all of them to me? Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, his body suddenly sank down, and he stomped his foot on the ground. Bam! The building under his feet collapsed. "You want it? If you have the guts, come and get it." Long Fei similarly charged forward. Lian Wuchao's strength increased and his strength also increased. Roar! A green dragon ghosting rushed out of Long Fei's body. It was incomparably huge, ferocious beyond compare. It was churning in the sky. Dragon! It really is a dragon, oh my god! Countless people were trembling in fear as they were struck by the green dragon ghosting in the sky. Lian Wuchao's pupils shrank rapidly as his palms moved slightly, and the power in his body exploded forth in an instant. Boom! A purple armor appeared on his body. In his hand was a large machete with a purple Chilean head. So what if you're a dragon? It was just a mere dragon image. What tricks could you possibly have up your sleeve? Boom! Lian Wuchao leaped up, flying straight into the sky. Face to face with the green dragon ghosting. Not afraid. In his eyes, contempt and disdain could be seen. Just like how Powerhouse of God's tribe looked down on a dragon powerhouse, his eyes were filled with disdain. Because the current dragon clan was no longer God's tribe's match, even Long Wutian had no choice but to lower his head and kneel in front of him. It was also because the God's tribe's power within the amethyst armor made Lian Wuchao not afraid in the slightest. But it was not like that. Lian Wuchao's body suddenly flickered with purple light, his entire body seemed to have grown larger. Open up a big store? The amethyst Chilean in his hand moved his big machete. Lian Wuchao roared out, cut. Long Fei's heart sank as well, explode. Roar. The green dragon roared, opening its big mouth and going towards Lian Wuchao to swallow him up. The purple crystal broadsword in Lian Wuchao's hand moved, and slashed at the dragon head in anger. The people of East Imperial City all looked up and died without blinking, afraid that they would miss something. To them, this was like a fight between gods. Rumble. 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 It was incomparably shocking. One after another, strength stripes shot out from the sky like rays of light. The scene was incomparably shocking. It was so shocking that one would even forget to breathe. Boom. 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 The 10,000 explosive sounds in the sky never stopped. Lian Wuchao's body faintly sank, and flew out 10,000 meters away. Once again he charged, annihilate. Long Fei's face revealed pain. The slash just now. His green dragon battle suits nearly bursted apart at this moment as his strength was simply too strong. He thought to himself, Lian Wuchao's talent is probably too much better than Han Wuya's. It can actually be used to this extent. Long Fei's level was too low, he was completely relying on the green dragon battle suits. If the green dragon battle suits shattered, then even if he summoned Aini Road, Ake and the others, they would not be his match. Lian Wuchao was already big. But Long Fei's big move, green dragon battle suits, was a little unable to endure it. He still needed a big move, an urgent need. I just have my killing sword. Chapter 2874, The Strength of the Death-Free Order S. Chapter 2874, The Strength of the Death-Free Order S. The whole city was watching. Everyone was astonished. The genius of the Lian family truly lives up to his reputation. A Kirin genius is a Kirin genius. How can a trash from the lower realms compare to it? So what if we have green dragon ghosting? He was stepped on as well. Ha ha ha. This is the difference between a trash and a genius. No matter how many green dragon ghosting he has, it's useless. He will still be stepped on by the Chilean genius. Let him know what a universal realm is. Muggle, do you understand? Long Fei had become the villain. Long Fei had colluded with the Night Valley and the Ghastly Cave, becoming a part of the demons. Long Fei was the scum of the East Imperial City, a traitor. Thus, when they saw Lian Wuchao block the green dragon, they mocked him. Dragon? Humph. Not to mention you're a dragon shadow, even if the real dragon was in front of me, I would still cut it down. Roar. Lian Wuchao rushed forward again, the blade in his hand slashing down. The power of the green dragon battlesuits had already been unleashed to the limit by Long Fei as the dragon's roar wreaked havoc. The dragon's might crushed the other, and the green dragon ghosting smashed forward heavily. However, no. Lian Wuchao didn't seem to be affected by the dragon's might. His speed and strength did not decrease at all. Rumble. The sword chopped down. Crack! A bolt of purple lightning struck down, causing the green dragon ghosting to sway slightly. Voila! A large piece of the azure chelene on Long Fei's body fell, and his mind sunk. Can't block it. Humph. Long Fei, there is simply no place for you in this world. A trash like you isn't worthy enough to enter the universal realm. Go and die for me, ha ha ha. Lian Wuchao's body retreated once again. Shua. His body turned into a streak of light. The big blade in his hand drew a huge blade chi in the sky, which could be seen with the naked eye. Another slash. Rumble. With an explosive sound, catcher. The dragon head on the green dragon ghosting. It was cut in half. The green dragon ghosting instantly shattered, and at the same time, the green dragon battlesuits on Long Fei's body scattered down, their cyan-colored scales falling onto the ground one by one. Poochie. Long Fei's vital energy and blood tumbled down from his chest. He could not hold back and vomited a mouthful of blood. His face turned pale white in an instant and he fell from the sky. Bam! It fell down heavily. The first thing Lan Mai did was rush up to help Long Fei up. His eyes were moist. Long Fei, Long Fei. Long Fei stood still and said, I'm fine. He did not expect this to happen. They never thought that the green dragon battlesuits would actually be broken by Lian Wuchao in a few moves. Lian Wuchao's strength had greatly exceeded his expectations. Long Fei panted heavily, lowered his voice, and said, I'm fine. Go find a chance to go to Elder Swordsman later, and then leave the city for Night Valley. It's very safe there. The defenses of the phoenix cloth on Lan Mai's body was very strong. Unless she was of the Supreme Realm, it would be hard to kill her. As long as they could delay Lian Wuchao, he would be able to escape. While Long Fei was speaking, he took out a small porcelain bottle he had prepared and said, This is the holy vein, it should be able to help you break through the life vein in your mind. Regardless of whether Lan Mai agreed or not, he directly stuffed it into her hands. Lan Mai anxiously asked, What about you? Long Fei grinned and said, Don't worry, I will be fine. Don't forget, my name is Long Fei. Lan Mai shook his head and said, I'm not leaving, I'm not going anywhere. If you die, I'll die with you. Boom. Right at this moment, Lian Wuchao's body heavily fell onto the ground. The surrounding people quickly scattered, and all looked at Lian Wuchao, their eyes filled with reverence. Young Master Lian is mighty. Young Master Lian is mighty. Young Master Lian, kill him. If even a dragon was killed, then Lian Wuchao's position in their hearts would be like that of a god. The crowd exploded. Lian Wuchao didn't even spare a glance at the surrounding people, as he stared coldly at Long Fei and Lan Mai, and coldly laughed. Truly, like objects converging, like a group of people. A trash whose meridians are clogged up, a trash from a lower plane. Perfect. One for my dead brother, the other for my grandfather's dead soul. You two pieces of trash can both die. Lian Wuchao's eyes congealed, his killing intent became even stronger, the amethyst sword in his hand dragged on the ground, with a swipe, flames flew in all directions, the blade chi went against the heavens, and he quickly rushed forward. Bam! Every step he took caused the ground to shake. Bam! Bam! Hearing the sounds of explosion, Lian Wuchao's figure was nowhere to be seen. Die! With that, a ray of purple light slashed down from above Long Fei's head. Hualala! The blade chi was like a gale as it came crashing down from the sky. Long Fei's body felt as though it was pressing down with 1,000,000 kilograms of strength as his body trembled non-stop. His mind and consciousness were all being crushed, unable to withstand it at all. Long Fei clenched his fists, and his heart sank. Imperial power. Inheritance of the Emperor. Release it. Both fists met. However, during this period of time, Long Fei had been researching and developing his battle clothes, and he simply did not have time to cultivate the imperial power that was passed down in the old Night King. Even if he were to cultivate, it would be impossible for him to absorb all of the imperial power in such a short period of time. Just your pair of fists. Humph. You overestimate yourself. Lian Wuchao sneered sinisterly, and said, Grandfather, look carefully, I'll take revenge for you. Shua. A ray of blade chi struck down. The purple-colored blade chi was like a fierce beast, devouring everything, not giving any chance to others. Lan Mai raised his eyes, and his body immediately stood in front of Long Fei to protect him. When the idea moved, the greatest defensive strength of the phoenix cloth was released. However, useless. Lian Wuchao absorbed the strongest power within the amethyst battle armor. Adding his Qilin, blood vein and his inherent skill, his power was simply too strong. The defenses of the phoenix clothess could not be blocked at all. The defense shattered. Lan Mai did not leave, he was still protecting Long Fei. Looking at Long Fei, he muttered to himself, "To be able to die together with you, I'm satisfied." Long Fei roared in his heart. On his right hand, there was a stream of purplish-black flames. There was a glow on his chest. He couldn't hold it in anymore. He wanted to use the ancient inheritance's nether energy. But, leave him be. Right at this moment, when the phoenix cloth's battle robe was broken, a strand of power descended from the sky and directly protected Lan Mai. This power directly destroyed Lian Wuchao's blade qi. Moreover, in this instant, Lian Wuchao continuously explosively retreated. He raised his eyebrows and stared at the sky. Anger boiled in his heart as he said, "Who the hell wants to die? How dare you stop me?" Not waiting for him to finish. The surrounding people were stunned, their gazes motionless in front of Lan Mai. That power just now was not from who, but from a command medallion. The power emitted from a command medallion. What command token had such powerful strength? Suddenly, an old man screamed in fear, "Death-free Order S." Chapter 2875 Armageddon? Chapter 2875 Armageddon? Death-free Order S. It's really the Death-free Order S card. How is this possible? In the entire East Imperial City, there is only one Death-free Order card and it has always been in the hands of the principal of the Donghuang College. Why would it appear here? It belongs to the Factory sect. Once the Death-free Order falls, no matter who it is, no one is allowed to touch it. Back then the Factory sect took an exceptional genius out of the Donghuang College and gave him a Death-free Order medallion. This medallion had not been used for decades, yet this year, he used it to save them. This. I don't believe it. Why would the Dean of Donghuang College save them? Once the command medallion is released, spare your life. If anyone dares to move, they will be going against the Factory sect. The Factory sect is a sect with the status of an overlord and possesses extremely powerful strength in the universal realm. I heard that there are overlord realm powerhouse in the Factory sect. These are all top-level powerhouse below the three great Shizun level. Death-free Order. It came from the Factory sect. Factory sect strength was at the level of an overlord, an existence that ruled over a region. East Imperial City was also under the jurisdiction of the Factory sect, and it was as if they had seen the sect master. No one in the East Imperial City would dare to challenge the Factory sect. Its power was too great. The strongest person in the East Imperial City is also only a royal realm, but the royal realm was like an ant in the Factory sect. How strong was it? Long Fei looked at the order badge on the ground, his gaze becoming tense. Death-free Order? He was perplexed. He didn't understand. He only knew Fu Shishan in the East Imperial City. Could it be the business alliance of Fu family? However, the power and influence of the Factory sect was far stronger than the entire business alliance of Fu family. It was likely that the business alliance of Fu family would not even be able to take out such a precious item. Who was that? Su Su. If it was her, she would have run out immediately. Who is it? The corners of Lian Wuchao's eyes twitched violently, the fury in his heart had to be suppressed. It was true that the power in his body was the power of the God's tribe. However, where is the God's tribe? Where was the God's tribe palace? He had no idea. Even if he could become a member of the God's tribe, water would not be able to save him from danger. If the Factory sect managed to reach the East Imperial City in a short amount of time, the consequences would be unimaginable if he offended the Factory sect. Lian Wuchao could not accept it. Suppressing his anger, he clenched his teeth and asked, "Who is it?" At this time, a figure landed. Everyone's face changed. The old servant Chen Yang, who was by Dean of Donghuang College's side. He Could it really be the death-free order that the dean of Donghuang College took out? Chen Yang landed on the ground and looked at Long Fei. He could not tell what was special about him, and his heart was also filled with incomparable suspicion. On the way here, he kept asking himself, why? Why? There's nothing special about this kid. The blood vein is ordinary, his talent is ordinary, why would the principal use the death-free order to save him? Death-free order were too precious. It was so precious that the dean of Donghuang College kept it on him at all times. God knows how many people in the East Imperial City wanted to obtain the death-free order. However, as long as it landed on the ground, it would be considered as a use. Moreover, not long later, it would slowly disappear into the soil, returning back to the factory sect. Death-free order Luo, Lian Wuchao, stop. Chen Yang said indifferently. Lan Mai looked at Long Fei and said excitedly, we don't need to die. Long Fei also laughed, his mind was still full of suspicions. Dean of Donghuang College doesn't have any reason to save me. I saw it when I was in Night Valley that day. He definitely will not save me. Even if he had to save me, he definitely won't do it in such a public place. It's even more impossible for him to use such a precious death-free order to save him. There must be a reason. Everyone in East Imperial City treated Long Fei as a traitor. A man must be killed. Anyone who wanted to listen to his words would also be seen as a traitor and a scum. No matter who it was the same even for the Donghuang College. It would definitely implicate him, and even damage his reputation. This was very disadvantageous to the Donghuang College. Intelligent people definitely would not do such a thing. Elder Chen, why? Why did you save a muggle from a lower plane? A few elders walked out. Chen Yang said indifferently, you don't need to know the reason, just do it. Lian Wuchao, do you understand? The respect he had for the factory sect was not the slightest bit. It was an existence he absolutely did not dare to provoke. Just a small East Imperial City like this, any number of powerhouse sent over would be enough to eliminate them. Minutes. There's no hope. Sigh. After all this time, we still haven't killed this scum. Just what is the background of this kid? Why is the old courtyard protecting him? Could he be someone from the factory sect? Bullshit. Many people were depressed. Very unhappy. But there was no other way. The factory sect couldn't afford to offend anyone. It was also at this time. A group of people quickly rushed over from every street. These people were all messengers from the various families. As each of them whispered these words into the ears of the elders of their family, the faces of each and every one of those elders suddenly changed. They all looked towards Long Fei. Zhong Xian's gaze darkened. Disciples of the Chen family, listen up. Retreat. Disciples of the Wang family, listen up. Retreat. 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 Suddenly, all of the clan elders were ordered to evacuate by their clan leader. They didn't understand, but at this point, even if they stayed, they wouldn't be able to kill Long Fei. They watched as the crowd left. Lian Wuchao said solemnly, all of you wait. Lian Shao, everything is over. What else do you want to do? After all this time, a lot of disciples died, but I didn't manage to get anything. If you didn't say that this brat has fragments of the amethyst armor, then I wouldn't have come to terms with you. Exactly. Immediately, Lian Wuchao's face was ugly, the anger in his heart was surging, and he was extremely unhappy. He walked in front of Chen Yang and said solemnly, Elder Chen, I want to ask you a question. Chen Yang said, speak? Lian Wuchao asked, how many people can the death-free order protect at once? Chen Yang was slightly taken aback about that. According to the rules of the factory sect, death-free order can only protect one person at a time. Hee. The corner of Lian Wuchao's mouth curled up slightly, and coldly stared at Long Fei. You can only protect one? One. Lian Wuchao looked at Chen Yang and asked, then whose is this death-free order's protection? Chen Yang's gaze tightened, looked at Long Fei, and lightly said, Long Fei. Lian Wuchao was not surprised at all. She coldly looked at Lan Mai and said, so, you can kill her, right? Looking at Lian Wuchao's sinister sneer, Lan Mai's mind trembled. Everyone stopped their retreat and revealed a sneer of disdain. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. The aura on Lian Wuchao's body surged once again. Today, I'll take your life first. His aura stirred. The purple blade chi attacked again, but Lian Wuchao sneered sinisterly. Bitch, go and die. Lan Mai's body trembled. Long Fei moved. Suddenly. Just at this time, he suddenly felt that the bindings on the killing sword had disappeared, and in that moment, Long Fei controlled it and said, if you don't want to die, you won't rest until one side dies, right? Damn it, killing flying sword, come. Chapter 2876, You Dare to Touch My Woman? Chapter 2876, You Dare to Touch My Woman? I want you to suffer, I want you to die. Lian Wuchao could not let Long Fei go 3 times in a row, so what could he do with the death-free order S? If I can't kill you, then I'll kill the people around you. It makes you feel bad. Moreover, this dragon gathering was actually planned out by the Lian family. If it were to end like this, then what face would the Lian family have? Lian Wuchao would definitely not let it go. Lian Wuchao sneered sinisterly, stared at Lan Mai and said, you dressed so beautifully, just like a bride. This is even better, go to hell to accompany my brother. His voice sank. Lian Wuchao's figure suddenly disappeared. His right hand grabbed towards Lan Mai's throat. Bam! Bam! 2 consecutive shots rang out, but they did not hit. Everyone could not help but be shocked. Launcher is not dead yet. But to send a god's elephant state ranker, who could not even deal with a single launcher? No one thought too much about it. They were all staring at the motionless Lan Mai, who was at a loss as to what to do. Lian Wuchao could even kill dragons, and it was easy for him to deal with her. Chen Yang glanced at Long Fei and gently shook his head. He signaled Long Fei not to act carelessly because he was not his match. From Dean of Donghuang College's tone, Chen Yang knew that something must not happen to Long Fei. If Long Fei and Lian Wuchao were to use steel, then Long Fei would definitely not be his match. As long as Long Fei attacked, he would fall into Lian Wuchao's trap. Lian Wuchao sneered sinisterly, trash, just watch as your woman dies by my hands, ha ha ha. An explosion sounded in the air. Lan Mai saw that Long Fei was unable to move, and was crushed by the imposing aura on her, causing her to be unable to move. She could only watch as Long Fei continuously shook his head, no, don't come over, don't. She also knew that if Long Fei came over, she would fall into Lian Wuchao's trap. At that time, the death-free order was useless. It didn't matter if he died, since her life was a burden anyway. She had lived long enough. Her father died because of her and her 2 uncles died because of her. The entire Lan clan also became like this because of her. It's good to die. Before she died, she could fight alongside Long Fei, and had a period of invincible time. As someone who couldn't cultivate, she was satisfied. Thus, even in the face of death, Lan Mai was very calm. There wasn't much fear in her eyes, and she was more worried about Long Fei. She was afraid that Long Fei would come and protect her. Sigh. The East Imperial City is missing a beauty, a unique beauty. The blue-colored monster just perished, just like that. Trash is trash. If my woman gets bullied, I will fight it out even if I die. Ha ha ha. Look at him not moving at all and not even daring to move forward. This is the muggle that came from the lower plane. I think he's scared to death right now and might have already peed his pants. Ha ha ha. The surrounding people mocked him. Lian Wuchao was not fast either, he was waiting for him. As long as Long Fei made a move, the death-free order would lose its effectiveness. It could only keep one person alive, but this person could not counterattack. Long Fei, open your eyes wide and see, your woman is about to die. Ha ha ha. Soon to be my brother's ghost bride. A useless trash like you can only watch from the side. You can't do anything about it. This must be a great feeling. Ha ha ha. Lian Wuchao was fiercely agitated. Long Fei did not say anything, but inwardly he was urging, quick, quick, quick. Faster. The killing flying sword flew out of the city lord's mansion. In that instant, Su Wantu's eyes turned cold, and she said faintly, as expected, that's right. I predicted that it would always be controlled by that brat, but now that it's bound by the purple crystal, it can't be controlled any longer. He was instantly controlled. Just what kind of flying sword is this? Su Wantu watched as the flying sword flew out of the Su residence like a stream of light. A guard quickly came over and reported, "Sir, the Dean of Donghuang College's death-free order has been used." Su Wantu's gaze tensed up, filled with suspicion. Factory sect's death-free order? That was traded to the Donghuang College by the White Horse incantation Yuan Tianwang all those years ago. Are you sure? Su Wantu did not believe it, nor did he dare believe it. In the entire East Imperial City, there was only one death-free order. In the East Imperial City, its value could be said to be higher than any other holy artifact. An existence at the level of an overlord in the Factory sect. The entire western regions was within its grasp. Not only was there a vast region, a small East Imperial City was only the size of a speck of dust in the eyes of the Factory sect. If not for Yuan Tianwang's exceptional talent and performance, he would have ranked third in the Factory sect's great examination all those years ago. Sect Master of Factory sect rewarded Donghuang College with a death-free order. After so many years had passed, there was now a Yuan Tianwang in the East Imperial City. Any more disciples could only stop at the big exam and didn't even have the qualifications to become an outer disciple of the Factory sect. The death-free orders were extremely important. The guard replied, reporting to Sir, it was brought by Chen Yang, who was by Dean of Donghuang College's side. Strangely, the death-free order was given to that kid surnamed Long. Su Wantu glared at him again. What? It was given to Long Fei? Dean of Donghuang College, what are you thinking? Su Wantu's heart sank. He did not understand, very much, why such a precious item would be given to someone who was not familiar with it. Furthermore, it was at a critical juncture like dragon gathering. Su Wantu couldn't wrap his head around it. This had a huge impact on the Donghuang College. However, Su Wantu knew that something must have happened, or else according to Dean of Donghuang College's personality, death-free order would definitely not be given to others as they please. There must be some other reason. Seems like Long Fei is even more complicated than I thought. Su Wantu muttered for a moment, and then asked, what's the situation now? The guard said, Lian Wuchao has not stopped, the death-free order can only protect one person. Beside Long Fei there is still the Lan clan Lan Mai, she is currently making her move. I think that Long Fei cannot protect her, the difference in cultivation is too great, no one will die because of a woman. With the protection of the death-free order, he would absolutely not die. Under the circumstances, who would save a woman and throw themselves in? There was no one in the world who was so stupid. Su Wantu thought so too. He only had one life, and if he died, he would have nothing. Long Fei was not a match for Lian Wuchao in the first place. If he were to save someone, he would die along with him. Everyone believed that Long Fei would not save Lan Mai, and would only watch Lan Mai die in Lian Wuchao's hands. However, just as they were talking, Su rushed out. Big brother Long Fei isn't that kind of person, he will definitely save big sister Lan. Definitely. Su Wantu frowned. Save? With what? To save his own life. If that's the case, then it would be even more stupid and unworthy of your liking. For a person who does not care for his life, what does he have to protect the people around him? Chapter 2877 Kneeling Instantly. Chapter 2877 Kneeling instantly. It could be said that no one would be able to save him, including Su Wantu himself. If it was him, he would also choose not to save her. Because a man must know how to endure. If he knew that he was going to die, he would go save him. He was not a hero, but a retard. It wouldn't be too late for a gentleman to exact vengeance in 10 years. As long as there was life, there would definitely be a chance. However, they were not Long Fei, and they did not know what kind of person Long Fei was. Just as Lian Wuchao lost patience and was about to kill his opponent, Long Fei moved. Chen Yang immediately said, Long Fei, you can't go. If you attack, the death-free order will lose its use. At that time, the only death-free order in the entire city. Was it going to be wasted just like that? The death-free order can only be used once. Is that a waste? Chen Yang's heart would always ache. Long Fei did not stop and walked over to Lan Mai in large strides, and said, she is my woman, I will definitely not let my woman be bullied. Whoever wants to kill her, I'll let them die. The same goes for the emperor. Long Fei's chi moved slightly, The pubes seemed to be breathing in and out like it was luck. However, Long Fei was not using his luck, but controlling the killing flying sword. Seeing Long Fei standing out and going over the death-free order's, Lian Wuchao laughed. Many of the surrounding people also laughed. What a brainless person. You're still thinking of being a hero to save a beauty at such a time. What qualifications do you have to take a piss and look after yourself? Ha ha ha. Not only is your cultivation useless, your brain is also useless. Ha ha ha. Brat, get ready to tremble. The crowd burst into laughter. Lan Mai also shook her head as she cried. Qian Yang frowned. This brat. Sigh. Lian Wuchao laughed sinisterly. Ha ha ha. Long Fei, kneel down and accept your death and return my grandfather's life. Roar. A Qilin roared. Buzz. The large amethyst blade appeared once again, filling the entire sky with Qilin blade chi. Within a radius of several kilometers, it was being crushed by the aura of Lian Wuchao alone. This move. He would definitely not give Long Fei another chance. The Jedi won't die. With a roar, Lian Wuchao's aura surged, the Qilin image superimposed onto his body, looking extremely lifelike, as if it was going to eat him alive. The blade chi on the large amethyst blade superimposed layer after layer. Finally, it was 3 stories high. This was Lian Wuchao's strongest move. Even if it was the powerhouse of the senior realm, it would still only take a second. How strong was his desire to kill Long Fei? What a powerful strength. No wonder the venerable powerhouse is no match for him. Isn't this power too powerful? As expected of the #1 genius of the East Imperial City, all the great teachers have placed great hopes on him. Who knows, maybe he will be able to pass the Factory Sects test in the future. Young Master Lian is mighty. Kill him. Everyone was shocked by the power that erupted from Lian Wuchao's body. It was simply too strong. Die. Lian Wuchao glared at him fiercely. However, just as he was about to slash Long Fei into fine powder, he had already said the word die, but he didn't move an inch. Furthermore, his body suddenly began to tremble. Zhong Xian's eyes narrowed. The aura on his body suddenly changed. Lian Wuchao looked at Long Fei and said, I was just joking earlier. The death-free orders have already appeared, how would I kill you? I don't dare to go against Factory Sect either. Hee. Instant submission? Suddenly becoming like this? What the hell was he doing? No one knew what happened. The corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked up as he laughed lightly. You're standing too high up, I don't want to raise my head to talk to anyone. I'm coming down. I'll be right down. Lian Wuchao instantly descended from the sky and said with a face full of smiles, I was wrong, how could you spare me? Long Fei's mouth hooked up, and said, Are you talking to me? My ears aren't too good, can you kneel down and clarify it a little? Cluck, 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 cluck. Lian Wuchao said in a heavy tone, Long Fei, don't push your luck. Long Fei smiled faintly, I'm sorry, I just like to push my luck. The idea moved. Lian Wuchao's eyes were brimming with fury. If looks could kill, Long Fei would have been killed by Lian Wuchao 1,000,000 times over. He glared at Long Fei and then he slowly bent over and knelt on the ground. Lian Wuchao kneeled. He knelt for the second time. This was the first time they had knelt in front of the entire Night Valley in front of the disciples of the Lian family. And now, here, they were kneeling in front of the entire city. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. He had no idea what was going on. A few seconds ago, Lian Wuchao had still crushed Long Fei. But now, instantaneously, it flipped over. What had happened? He couldn't even react in time. Only Lian Wuchao himself knew. On the back of his head, a flying sword had already pierced into his skull. As long as he used a little more strength, he would be like his grandfather, a headshot. He couldn't understand it at first. Grandfather is so strong, what can a mere flying sword do? Furthermore, the flying sword released by Long Fei's general level could not cause the slightest bit of damage to the senior realm, but now, he had experienced it. The flying sword at the back of his head was not an ordinary flying sword. Long Fei smiled. Is that enough? It's not enough at all. Lian Wuchao squinted and said, "What exactly do you want to do?" Long Fei stepped forward and slapped him. "You dare to speak to me in such a manner?" Pa. It was incomparably loud. Had used a lot of strength in this slap, but Long Fei did not make any expression because the anger in his heart. He was abnormally angry. He had been suppressing it the entire time. What was his character? More irritable than fire. A person who would do anything if he was unwilling to accept the fact that life and death were indifferent to it. Move his woman. Endure. Let alone having a killing flying sword, even if he didn't, Long Fei would still have crossed over the Death-Free Order S sign, because he was Long Fei. Lian Wuchao's face burned with anger, blood trickled out from the corner of his mouth as he clenched his fists. His killing intent soared to the sky, but he still lowered his head and fiercely kowtowed to the ground, and said, "Please, please, please forgive me this once. I swear, I will never be your enemy again." This caused Long Fei to be secretly shocked. She didn't expect Lian Wuchao to be so tolerant. The surrounding people had stupefied expressions on their faces. "Young Master Lian, what are you doing? Why are you kneeling down to this trash? Is there water in your head? What happened?" The corner of Long Fei's mouth twitched, and said, "Kill that person who just said I'm trash." Lian Wuchao raised his eyes, and instantly rushed out. He grabbed onto a warrior and crushed his head, and returned to Long Fei's side. "Is this all right?" Everyone was dumbfounded. Staring at Lian Wuchao, her eyes revealed hatred. Long Fei continued, "Just now, there were a few more people who were killed as well." Lian Wuchao moved again with a few cracking sounds. Another wave of people fell. "Is that enough?" Long Fei looked at the hate in the eyes of the surrounding people, and faintly smiled, and said, "That's about it, that's enough." Chapter 2878, One Sword Blast. Chapter 2878, One Sword Blast. Almost, that's enough. When Lian Wuchao heard this, it was as if he had been pardoned. He was about to leave quickly. However, after he turned around, Long Fei said coldly, "Did I let you go?" Lian Wuchao suddenly stopped, his fists tightened, the muscles at the corner of his eyes twitched. He truly wanted to crush Long Fei, he truly wanted to do so. However, he slowly turned around with a face full of smiles, and said, "Brother Long Fei, what else do you want? Speak. As long as it's a matter of the East Imperial City, I will solve any problem for you. Is there anyone else who is speaking ill of you? Tell me, no one here is my match, I can kill them all." As soon as he finished speaking, everyone was shocked. "Lian Wuchao, are you King crazy? Lian Wuchao, who do you think you are? Junior, you are actually such a thing. He's not a thing." Without waiting for everyone to finish, Lian Wuchao's figure flashed, shua, shua, shua. After a few consecutive blows, the head of the speaker was instantly taken off. His hands were blooded as he threw them on the ground. He already wanted to vent. All these killing intents were originally meant for Long Fei. However, Lian Wuchao revealed a sinister smile, and said, "Whoever King says anything more will die." The surroundings suddenly quieted down. The hatred in his eyes was dense. Lian Wuchao changed his expression into a fawning expression and said, "Master Long Fei, can I leave now? Let me go once, and I'll take a detour wherever you are from now on." Long Fei shrugged and said, "Go. It's not like I'm keeping you here. You can leave at any time. But you've killed so many people. If I let you leave, these people probably won't let you leave either, right? And if it weren't for the dragon gathering that you planned for, the disciples of the families would not have died. Even if I let you go, do you think the big families in the East Imperial City would let you go?" Long Fei said indifferently. All of the clan elders stared at Lian Wuchao with sunken eyes. Lian Wuchao said solemnly, "You were the one who told me to kill all these people." Long Fei sneered, "So what if I tell you to kill me? Then why don't you go and eat shit when I'm telling you to eat shit? I only casually said that you took it for real. It was you who loved to kill." Lian Wuchao's face turned ugly. It was useless for him to say anything now, and he knew that this world relied on strength and not words. As long as he could survive. As long as the god's tribe's power in his body was still circulating, he was not afraid of anyone. Immediately, Lian Wuchao said arrogantly, "As long as you let me go, these people will be a bunch of trash. Whoever dares to stop me will die." Extremely arrogant. Long Fei intentionally added fuel to the fire. "You're really arrogant. These people are seniors after all. It's not good to say that they are trash, right? Furthermore, saying these words in front of the entire audience is not giving them any face at all." The expressions of the older generation turned extremely ugly. All of them felt extremely humiliated. An old man said in a low voice, "Lian Wuchao, you are too arrogant." Lian Wuchao's eyes turned cold. He stared at the old man and said, "I am crazy, what can you do?" The old man was so angry that his face turned red. It was also at this time. A few elders stepped forward. "Your Lian family is a noble, but this is still not the place where your Lian family can cover the sky with one hand. You're right. You want to leave after killing so many of our disciples? Leave your life behind." These words were repeated one after another. All of the elders stepped forward and the disciples of their family also rushed forward. They didn't even feel good about being called trash. Especially those hot-blooded young disciples. They were abnormally angry. "Don't waste time with him. Kill him. Kill him." Many disciples quickly closed in. Lian Wuchao was not afraid in the slightest as he said, "With just you pieces of trash like you all, if we were to go up together, your father will definitely smash you into meat paste." He was angry. Anger had made him lose his mind, and now he just wanted to get out of here. Thus, he was desperate. The more they spoke, the more wrong they became. The surrounding people were getting angrier and angrier. Qian Yang looked at Long Fei, and said in his heart, "So powerful." He didn't know what kind of method Long Fei used to make Lian Wuchao surrender to him to such a state, but he sincerely admired Long Fei. He was originally a dragon gathering, but what had he become now? It had directly turned into a massacre. He had to say it. Although words could not kill, it could still kill. Long Fei looked at everything and suddenly said, "Lian Wuchao wants to escape, don't let him escape." As soon as the words left his mouth, immediately, dozens of people charged forward. "Kill! Kill! Don't let him escape!" The aura on Lian Wuchao's body suddenly exploded. "You think only trash like you can keep me here? All of you, go to hell." Boom. Dozens of people were sent flying. Kill. But there were thousands of people in the surroundings. One was knocked away, and the other rushed up, and more people rushed up. In a moment, Lian Wuchao's body was surrounded by people. These people were like a swarm of ants, crazily rushing forward. Lian Wuchao killed crazily. But the more he killed, the crazier the people around him became. "You say that we're trash, but what do you care? Kill him and bring down his status as a noble of Lian family. Kill him. Damn it. You are acting crazy in front of everyone in the city. Are you crazy?" Rumble. Rumble. All sorts of powerful techniques fiercely smashed onto Lian Wuchao's body. Blast it to death. Lan Mai was dumbfounded. What's going on? Now, no one cared about Long Fei at all. All of them charged towards Lian Wuchao with incomparable madness. Lian Wuchao was powerful. However, there were simply too many people around. Even if they killed one wave after another, they wouldn't be able to kill them all and they wouldn't be able to charge out. He didn't want to die. These people didn't care about their lives. "I just want to fight you to the death." When Long Fei saw this, he felt pain in his heart. Experience, my universal value. Just recently, his universal value had already accumulated to 2,600 points. According to the Grand Mist system's setup, 100 points of universal value could be condensed into a drop of universal soul. In other words, he could now condense 26 drops of Grand Mist energy. The power of the universal soul. It was terrifying even to the imagination. Now, Long Fei did not have time to think about all this. Seeing that Lian Wuchao was frantically killing, there was really no one who could stop him. This slaughter demon, everyone can kill it. As soon as he finished speaking, Long Fei leaped high into the air, flew straight up, and smashed down with his palm, With a heavy sound, instant death palm, die. Everyone looked at Long Fei. Lian Wuchao's pupils suddenly shrank. Long Fei, fuck you. Crack. Without waiting for him to finish, his head exploded. A headshot. Chapter 2879 Lian Wuchao, explode. Chapter 2879 Lian Wuchao, explode. Bam! A ray of light passed through the back of his head. A crack appeared on his forehead. The flowing light also instantly disappeared. Long Fei did not dare to let it stay any longer as he quickly retracted it back into his body. The flying sword returned to its original form, once again returning to his pubes. Long Fei finally relaxed a little, but the power of the flying sword became chaotic and weakened due to varying degrees of damage. Was it huge to want to repair it back? After all, this flying sword was made from the ancient inheritance that Violet Gold Godguard commanded the energy in Sky Marshal's body. Furthermore, he had cultivated it to the Mahayana realm, so once it was damaged, repairing it would be extremely difficult. This ancient inheritance's power will be weakened. Long Fei understood in his heart that before his cultivation level increased, this ancient inheritance killing flying sword was his strongest trump card. Lian Kaijiang, who had instantly killed Senior Realm. Now, even Lian Wuchao, who had fused with the violet gold armor's energy, had his head blown off. Without it, it was unknown how many times Long Fei had died. Killing flying sword were too important. Ding! The system sounded out. Long Fei laughed to himself. Explode. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Lian Wuchao for obtaining 100,000 experience, 10,000 true spiritual value points, and 1 universal value point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the illusory Chilean divine blood. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining violet gold armor fragment. Do you wish to fuse it? Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, General level 6. It drop. Another drop of holy vein. Long Fei was secretly happy. He had also explosively obtained the illusory Chilean divine blood from Lian Kaijiang's body. Now that there was one more, Lan Mai would have a bit more hope. Lan Mai didn't have much time left. Originally, she still had half a year of lifespan, but after today's outbreak and her severe injuries, her lifespan became increasingly short. If he didn't help her dredge the channels any longer, and released the vein of blue water's power, she feared that he wouldn't be able to hold on for 2 more months. Violet gold armor fragment. Long Fei looked at this small piece of purple metal. It looked like a purple ore in a game, there wasn't anything special about it. However, it was because this small piece of violet gold armor made everyone in the East Imperial City scramble to obtain it. Everyone wanted to obtain it, and they even turned Han Wuya into a monster. Although Lian Wuchao was not controlled, his mentality had changed. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so irritable just now. Do you wish to fuse them? Long Fei faintly exhaled. No. He gave up on fusing. At this time, the Azure Dragon spoke up slightly. Little kid, if you don't want it, then leave it to me. This purple gold metal is a good material to forge my dragon armor. Long Fei stared blankly, then said, forging your dragon armor would probably require a mountain of similar materials. This piece of purple gold metal is just this tiny bit, collecting it is simply too difficult. The green dragon replied, don't worry, this piece of purple gold was used to make the violet gold godguard's armor. Even if you can't collect it, with this small piece of purple gold, I will be able to sense where the purple gold mine is. At that time, are there still no materials? He had his own plans. What was the power of the Azure Dragon? Long Fei wasn't sure either. However, very powerful. Long Fei said, all right, then you can keep it for yourself. Long Fei placed the violet gold armor fragment into the space ring that the green dragon was in, and then asked, you can sense where the spirit treasure is? The Azure Dragon laughed. The dragon race has an unusual reaction towards spiritual treasures, especially light-emitting items. For high-grade ores like this, one can immediately know the exact location within 10 kilometers. Awesome. Long Fei was startled. What about the other spirit treasures? The Azure Dragon replied, it's not as sensitive as the ore, but it's still possible to get close to it. Kid, what do you want to do? Long Fei smiled and said, it will be useful in the future. Heh. Killing monsters was too difficult and killing people was too troublesome. Moreover, there weren't that many monsters or people for Long Fei to kill. If he wanted to quickly level up, other than using in-game methods, he could also gain experience through recycling. This is important. As long as he had enough soul treasures, leveling up would only take a few minutes. With the Azure Dragon, a treasure-seeking divine beast, how could he worry about not finding a spirit treasure? The Green Dragon said no more. The surrounding people also recovered from their shock. Seconds. What a powerful strength. So, he has always been hiding his strength, so he does not need any death-free order. Good job, Lian Wuchao. This dog deserves to die. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't have done this. The mighty Young Master Long. The domineering aura of the Young Master Long. Young Master Long is awesome. Many people began to shout out. The situation seemed to have turned 180 degrees, from wanting to kill Long Fei in the beginning to wanting to kill him now. This was not even counting the fact that many clan elders had walked over to Long Fei's side. He had a fawning expression on his face. Mr. Long, you are truly mighty. My Yu family's door is open for you at any time. Feel free to come look for us if you need anything. The same goes for my Liu family. The Mr. Long is the most amazing genius of the East Imperial City. Lian Wuchao isn't even qualified to carry your shoes. Mr. Long. All of them were like ass-kissing bums, their attitudes changing by 180 degrees. Because they knew that Long Fei's identity was not normal. The Dean of Donghuang College's death-free order had all come out, and even sent the Donghuang College's envoys to the various great families to notify them. It could be seen that Long Fei was extremely important to the Dean of Donghuang College. No matter what the reason was, Long Fei could not afford to offend him now. Long Fei smiled lightly and said, of course, many thanks to all seniors for thinking so highly of me. Right. Lian Wuchao is dead, then the Lian family. An old man immediately said, rest assured Mr. Long, the nobility status of Lian family is not something that can be obtained with the power of a clan. With the death of Lian Wuchao, there will be very few people in Lian family, and they will be chased out of East Imperial City. Right. They were all old cunning foxes, and Long Fei's words were immediately understood. Moreover, they were also angry at the Lian family. Now that he was dead, there was nothing to be afraid of anymore. Long Fei slightly smiled, and said in his heart, really good. Long Fei also said, Lian family is the root of this disaster, so naturally, we have to eliminate him. However, this matter happened because of me, so when the time comes, I want to get involved as well. What kind of status does Lian family have? Even if he wasn't a noble, he was still a first-rate family. How many treasures were hidden in the house? How could he miss such a family-raiding matter? Everyone immediately nodded and said, of course not. Lian Wuchao, Lian Kaijiang, don't let another senior Lian appear when the time comes. The crowd dispersed. Qian Yang also left, and did not invite Long Fei to the Donghuang College. As long as they had a relationship with the Donghuang College, no one in the East Imperial City would dare touch Long Fei. The street was deserted again. Only Long Fei, Lan Mai, and the group of Lan clan members standing far away were left looking at Lan Mai, wishing that he would die. Lan Mai was also looking at them. Chapter 2880, Once Again, Failure. Chapter 2880, Once Again, Failure. Lan Mai, can you come back? You are still the clan master. We were truly wrong. We shouldn't have treated you like that, and we shouldn't have treated you like that either. An elder of the Lan clan said while blaming himself. Actually, they were very clear that as long as they kept Lan Mai here, Long Fei would also stay. Long Fei was incredible. Even the dean of Donghuang College had used their only death-free order to protect him, and the hundreds of families had quickly evacuated as well. This meant that Long Fei's background and identity were definitely not simple. As long as they had some connections with Long Fei, Who would dare to make a move? The reason why he left Lan Mai behind was also to tie him up. Long Fei was not stupid, he knew this in his heart, but to the Lan mansion, they were Lan Mai's homes. He said lightly, "If you want to go back, then go back." Lan Mai shook his head lightly, looked at the Lan mansion not far away, and said indifferently, "That is no longer my home. From the moment he closed the door, I no longer had anything to do with them." Following that, Lan Mai looked at Long Fei deeply and said, "Now, you are my home." Long Fei smiled lightly. Lan Mai immediately held Long Fei's hand, and his head gently leaned against Long Fei's shoulder without turning back to look at the people from the Lan clan. She didn't want to go back. He did not want to carry any more Lan clan flags, and be called trash with blocked meridians by his family members. In short, she just wanted to follow Long Fei. "Where are we going now?" Lan Mai asked softly. Tan De Pao was not dead, but he was slightly injured and had hid in a dark place. "He should be fine," Long Fei said. "First, find a place to stay, I need to clear your meridians." Lan Mai's eyes flashed with tears, and she muttered, "Why are you so good to me?" Her heart was filled with debt. The first thing Long Fei did after entering the city was to save her. Now, he was still thinking about her. Lan Mai's heart was also thoroughly conquered by Long Fei. A man who treats you so well, and the fortune that you've cultivated in your previous life, if you don't seize it now, how long will it take? Lan Mai held Long Fei's arm tightly. Long Fei said softly, "Lu Lan, why are you being so anxious?" "It's not like I'm going to run." Lan Mai muttered, "I'm afraid that if you ran away, then where would I find you?" He was filled with joy. This feeling was especially good. He held his arm and walked on the street. The sun was setting in the west, and the afterglow was shining on their backs. It was a long, long shadow. Donghuang College. It's been saved. But, Master, I don't understand. The death-free order was exchanged with a white horse. The entire East Imperial City was won for him. Is it really worth it? Chen Yang returned to report. He still did not understand. Even after thinking for an entire day, he still could not understand. There was no reason. The use of death-free order was too big. It could even be said that within 1,000,000,000 kilometers, it could even protect itself once. The super hegemon of the Fatri sect was invincible within this range. Huff. Dean of Donghuang College exhaled lightly, and said indifferently, "Old Chen, I know what you're thinking about. There are some things that I can't say. I can only say that for you, me, and the entire East Imperial City, being able to live is something that you should feel fortunate about." What? Chen Yang's eyes widened in shock. He couldn't understand it to begin with, but now, he even more so, couldn't understand why Long Fei was still alive. In other words, if something were to happen to him, would they, the entire East Imperial City, suffer a calamity? This. Zhong Xian was stupefied. The dean of Donghuang College did not regret using the death-free order. The fact that Long Fei was still alive greatly relieved him, because he knew that no matter how powerful the Fatri sect was, an existence of a super hegemon. Compared to that ancient Mu clan, an existence that was like an ant. "Have you found anything?" City Lord's mansion Su Wantu was especially concerned about this matter. He also couldn't understand why such an old fox like the dean of Donghuang College would give a low-class muggle the death-free order to a low-class muggle. What kind of special identity did he have? An elder shook his head gently. "No." Suwantu asked again, "What about the flying shuttle exit record?" The old man shook his head. "Yes, there is nothing special about it." Nor, Suwantu's brows tightened, could it be Emperor Strongman? That's not right. Even an Emperor Strongman would not be able to fly trillions of kilometers. Is it a heavenly saint-level super powerhouse? Zhong Xian's eyes narrowed. The old man asked, "Sir, why must Powerhouse come to the East Imperial City?" Su Wantu said slightly, "Because there isn't a single person in the East Imperial City that can order around, not to mention the death-free order S that he is supposed to use, which is even more impossible. There must be a powerhouse, and it's a super powerhouse with a huge power." The old man's eyes turned cold. It stopped for a moment. The old man thought of something and asked, "What about compared to the young master?" "Son of Heaven," Su Wantu smiled faintly and said, "He is from the descendant of God's tribe, and possesses the god's tribe's blood vein. Even though he is undergoing training in the universal realm, his identity and background is something that no clan or sect in the entire universal realm can compare to God's tribe. The supreme existence. Even the lowest level disciples of the God's tribe could be arrogant and disrespectful towards existences in the universal realm. The old man said, "Then there is no need to worry, even if Dean of Donghuang College climbs onto a certain great power, as long as young master is there, no one can shake the Su family's status." Su Wantu also smiled faintly. South of the city, in a small courtyard. This was something that Long Fei rented temporarily. In the small courtyard, Long Fei passed 2 drops of the illusory Chilean divine blood to Lan Mai, and said, "These 2 drops are the divine beast's blood essences that can help you clear your life veins. As long as you can open your lifeline, you can start training." Long Fei did not say what kind of blood vein it was. At the same time, Long Fei wanted to know what kind of existence the descendant of Holy General Black and White referred to was. Long Fei said, "I will be your protector, you will properly fuse with the divine beast." Lan Mai nodded heavily and said, "Amen." The black prison god Grass was unable to break through his life vein, so with the divine beast here, it should be possible, right? Lan Mai was secretly happy in her heart, but at the same time, she was extremely touched. She didn't want to disappoint Long Fei anymore, and become the trash that everyone talked about. Huff. Lan Mai let out a light breath. The idea moved a little and poured out the divine beastess from the bottle, absorbing them into his body. At this moment, buzz. An immense power surged from her body. Goop. Rumble. The life veins attacked like thunder. A series of explosions could be heard. Lan Mai endured the pain, and said in his heart, "I have to succeed no matter what, I have to succeed no matter what." 3 minutes later, the divine beast dissipated exceptionally strongly as her face became pale. Fart. He spat out a mouthful of blood. The charge had failed. Lan Mai's face turned ugly, not because of pain, but because of failure. She was not convinced. Again. He absorbed it again. However, a few minutes later, he then spat out another mouthful of blood, but he was still unable to break through his lifeline. He still failed. Lan Mai laughed bitterly as he looked at Long Fei, and said indifferently, "I'm just a useless person, I just can't rush to break through my lifeline. Maybe this is my life." Chapter 2881, God's Tribes entering the East Imperial City. Chapter 2881, God's Tribes entering the East Imperial City. Another failure. The black prison god Grass was a divine herb of the dredge the channels. However, at that time, there was still hope in her heart. After all, there was still the hope of the divine beast. She did not give up. She was always filled with anticipation towards the martial arts training. She believed that one day, she would be able to break through the shackles of fate. But now, accept your fate. She felt extremely bitter in her heart, but she didn't want Long Fei to know. She wore a faint smile on her face, and said, "Anyway, with the clothes that you gave me, I'm still invincible. We'll talk about it later." Lan Mai looked at Long Fei, and said, "Weren't you protecting me?" He smiled faintly. He looked very happy. Long Fei also gently smiled, and said, "I will protect you, for the rest of my life." When he was in Zhenwu continent, he was also mocked as a trash. He understood what kind of feeling it was. At least Long Fei could protect her. Most importantly, her longevity. Lan Mai did not know that he only had less than 2 months left to live. If she could not break through the shackles of her Ming men, she would die. 2 months. To a young girl, this was a very short period of time. No way. Long Fei secretly thought, "My woman, how can I let her die? There must be a way. There must be." Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, looked at the pale white Lan Mai who had a bitter smile on his face, and said softly, "No matter what, I cannot let you die." Lan Mai didn't hear it as she fell asleep while leaning on Long Fei's chest. She was too tired. His heart was also tired. "I'm just a piece of trash, I'm just a burden. I used to burden my father, but now, I have to burden Long Fei, my life is just a burden." Actually, She also knew that she wouldn't be able to live much longer. It might be a relief. The next morning. In the yard. Long Fei retracted both his hands and spat out a mouthful of foul air. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 80,983 experience point. Long Fei would never waste an hour cultivating in normal mode every day. His experience points was steadily increasing, and not only that, his body was also becoming stronger as he cultivated. True spirit body tempering was something that he would not be able to experience even if his system were to level up. Seeing Long Fei open his eyes, Lan Mai walked over. Breakfast is ready, quickly come and eat. There was a smile on his face. A happy smile. Long Fei smiled as he stood up. This feeling was very warm. After washing up and eating breakfast. Stay at home, I'll make a trip to Business Alliance of Fu family. Long Fei thought that since Fu Shishan was experienced and knowledgeable, how could she possibly have a way? Moreover, last night, Long Fei thought about it for an entire night. There was another reason. Maybe it was because the magical Kylin blood strength was insufficient, or maybe he needed other strong divine beastess. Let Fu Shishan see if he can gather something from the channels of the Business Alliance of Fu family. Also, Long Fei still had a few things that he needed Fu Shishan's help with. Through a few streets, Long Fei arrived at the Business Alliance of Fu family headquarters. When the two guards saw Long Fei, one of them immediately stopped him and said, "Mr. Long is back." Long Fei politely smiled and asked, "Is your young miss here?" The guard said, "No." Long Fei was startled for a moment, then said, "Then do you know where you're going?" The guard replied, "I don't know about that. It's impossible for Miss to tell me where she went." Long Fei said, "All right, then I will not disturb you." Fu Shishan was not present, so he was too lazy to go in. Just as he was about to leave, a few elders anxiously walked out, and saw that Long Fei and the rest all had ugly expressions on their faces. "Please wait." Mr. Long, an elder, walked forward, holding a silver card that was unique to the Business Alliance of Fu family. Inside this card is 10 million Grand Mist crystals. It is the share of the Zhengling pills. Long Fei accepted it, and said, "Thank you. Where is Miss Fu?" The elder said, "This is what I want to tell you. From now on, I hope that you won't come back here and that you won't disturb our young miss." Long Fei was startled, and asked, "What do you mean?" Another younger elder had a slightly irritable temper as he said directly, "It means that we should draw a clear line between us and you. Don't come back here again. Do you understand?" The old man said, "Our Business Alliance of Fu family only deals in business. We do not wish to offend a few clans because of a certain person, and now that your identity has been washed clean, it's better. From today onwards, I hope you will not disturb our young miss." Long Fei said, "Is that what your young miss wants?" The old man didn't even think about it and directly said, "That's right, our young miss is inside. She doesn't want to see you and wants me to tell you about this. Kid, you must have given up. Haven't you harmed enough of our Business Alliance of Fu family? Scram. A toad wanting to eat a swan's meat, why don't you take a piss and take care of yourself?" The disciples of the Business Alliance of Fu family all started to look down on him. Long Fei's heart ached, and he said, "Can you let me see Miss Fu?" "No way. Mr. Long, we have already drawn a clear line between us. We shouldn't disturb you any further, right?" The old man said. Long Fei could only leave it at that, took out a space ring from his bosom, and said, "Thank you, Business Alliance of Fu family, for taking care of her these past few days. This is my reward to Miss Fu. I hope Elder can give it to her." "Humph. What does our young lady not have?" "You want to give me something? Kid, are you still not willing to give up? How much more do you want to harm our Business Alliance of Fu family?" Several disciples clamored. The old man still accepted it, and said, "All right, I will pass it to Miss. I hope the young Master Long will not appear again." Long Fei turned and left. For some reason, his heart ached. It was like a needle. Uncontrollable pain. He didn't believe that Fu Shishan would do such a thing, but from the looks of it, something big must have happened to the Business Alliance of Fu family. "Elder, what exactly is inside the space ring?" "Who cares what it is, I'll just throw it away." "That's right, what good stuff can that low-level muggle of his give away?" Several disciples fiercely spoke out. The old man continued, "Stay with me. No matter what, we can't give this to the miss. Otherwise, we won't be able to control him. Sigh. Still too young. What kind of love? The most important thing is reality. If the business alliance of Fu family is in a downturn, we might not be able to complete this year's mission and have to withdraw from the East Imperial City. It's all because of that Long Fei. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been suppressed by the mysterious power. That's him." Long Fei's identity was a mystery and many great families did not dare to move against him. In the East Imperial City, it was also a different version of legend. Legend has it that Long Fei was the illegitimate child of the dean of Donghuang College, and said that he was the disciple of a certain great clan, and that he was. Various versions. The entire East Imperial City was discussing. Long Fei spent the entire day observing the streets of the East Imperial City. He wanted to know where exactly the problems were going on in the business alliance of Fu family, and after a day of investigation, he discovered that the doors of the shops were completely empty. On the contrary, a few newly opened shops were packed with people. For the merchant union, poor business would affect their foundations. If things continued like this, the business alliance of Fu family would definitely not be able to survive. Long Fei stood in front of a shop in a long line. Just as he was about to enter, the sounds of puffing smoke came from behind him at an unknown time. At the same time, a voice sounded out, "Stop looking, it's a pill refined by the powerhouse of God's tribe. The powers outside of God's tribe are entering the East Imperial City." Chapter 2882 Evil Pill. Chapter 2882 Evil Pill. The power of the God's tribe. Enter the East Imperial City. Long Fei felt that this was somewhat unbelievable. Because there was no reason at all. God's tribes did not take this place seriously at all. True spirits were thin, the land was sparse, and there were no strategic value to it. A genius would rarely appear even in 100 years, and a genius who had reached the level of an outer disciple of God's tribe was even less. How could they be here? Elder Swordsman looked at the expression on Long Fei's face with eyes as sharp as an eagle's. He saw the doubt in Long Fei's eyes, but it wasn't the expression he wanted. He couldn't help but think in his heart, could it be that it isn't? Is he really not from the God's tribe? Then how do you explain the God's tribe space ring? It could be said that he had been constantly paying attention to Long Fei during this period of time. Even if Long Fei was to leave the city during this period of time, he would still secretly watch him. Seeing Long Fei's doubtful expression, Elder Swordsman's gaze darkened slightly. Putting away his smoke spear, he slowly turned around and said, "It's not any kind of God's tribe power, it's just some outer force that can only fight against God's tribe. It's just that they are showing off in this kind of place." Finished. The Elder Swordsman bowed and slowly walked into the crowd. Long Fei looked at the packed store and muttered, "The power of God's tribe? Only the God's tribe's blood-vein disciples could enter the God's tribe palace, and the outer disciples that were recruited everywhere in the God's tribe were not qualified to enter the shrine unless they were summoned. They were in the Sky Sect. It was the strongest power in the universal realm. Commanders 4 directions. The existence of the super hegemon. As for the powers that were stationed in the East Imperial City, they were the ones that had a slight relationship with the outer ring of the God's tribe, and were not the disciples of the God's tribes. But even so, the motive for this kind of force to enter the East Imperial City was not simple. Why couldn't he come at a time like this? Long Fei thought in his heart, could it be that we discovered the God's tribe's curse mark? Is it because of me, or is it because of the ancient inheritance? His intuition told him that this matter was not that simple. Just as Long Fei was thinking about these, Zhu Tian walked out happily with a flushed face. When he saw Long Fei, he immediately asked, "Brother Long, you're here too? Are you here to buy God's tribe's spirit dance as well? The effects of this spirit pill are too great, it is even more powerful than the effects of the Zungling pills." Zhu Tian said excitedly. Long Fei said, "Is it more effective than the Zungling pills?" Zhu Tian carefully took out the spirit-gathering pellet he just bought, and said, "Spirit-gathering pellet, a 6th grade pellet. After consuming it, it will allow your pubes to crazily absorb the true spirit of heaven and earth, and your entire body's 8 extraordinary meridians will be refining when you sleep. In a short period of time, your cultivation will be able to quickly break through, and there are already many people who have broken through several realms in just a few days. With that, Zhu Tian happily continued, with this spirit-gathering pill, I will definitely surpass Chen Ao in the next half of the semester in Donghuang College, hehe. Long Fei was also slightly taken aback, and said, this miracle? Then what's the price for this pill? Zhu Tian said excitedly, when it comes to the price, you might be shocked. It only costs 100 grand mist crystals. Long Fei was stunned. Even a better tier 1 medicinal pill would be priced at more than that. So cheap. The cost of a rank 6 pill was not only that, could it be for the warriors of the East Imperial City? Is there such a noble merchant union? Looking at Long Fei's shocked expression, Zhu Tian asked excitedly, isn't it very shocking? I was also very shocked at the time, but it really was 100 grand mist crystals. Even the lowest level martial artists would be able to afford such a price. But only one per person. It would be great if I could buy a few more. Zhu Tian was very pleased with himself. Looking at the psionic condensing pills in the small box, he couldn't help but get excited. Long Fei slightly said, can you let me take a look? Zhu Tian passed it over and said, take a look. Long Fei took the pill and looked at it. It was very natural, without any special smell, his entire body was enveloped in a light aura, it looked extremely extraordinary. Anyone who saw this pill would think this was a top-grade pill. Long Fei was the same at first glance. Zhu Tian said, not bad, I heard that the alchemist in this spirit pill pavilion is a descendant of God's tribe, the pills they can refine are definitely not simple. God's tribe's alchemist. Who doesn't want a pill refined by a God's tribe alchemist? The key point is that it's so cheap. Everyone who bought the psionic condensing pills from the shop was the same. They were all very excited. God's tribe is truly good to us East Imperial City. The cold winter is approaching. With this spirit-gathering pill, it's just too timely. He's much stronger than that Zhengling pills. That's right, Zhengling pills are sold for so much money. Look at the current business alliance of Fu family, are there still people who want to go? Serves you right. Business alliance of Fu family is going to go bankrupt soon, ha ha ha. Many people laughed. Long Fei's heart tensed up. The business alliance of Fu family was indeed in a difficult situation, as almost all of its businesses were being suppressed, and if this continued, failure was only a matter of time. Zhu Tian knew that the relationship between Long Fei and business alliance of Fu family was not ordinary, and said, in the days you were outside the city, business alliance of Fu family basically did not have any business at all. If not for the relationship that Pavilion Master Fu had established, I'm afraid that business alliance of Fu family would have already gone bankrupt. No business either. Spirit grass, alchemy, qi cultivating, all the businesses that could be done have been monopolized by the God's tribe. Basically, all of the people in the East Imperial City know of the shops owned by the God's tribe. The God's tribe was too famous. Even if it was the same item, a high price would mean choosing the God's tribe. This was because the God's tribe was incomparably powerful and was the super hegemon of the universal realm. Moreover, the things in the God's tribe were so cheap, who could resist them? Long Fei nodded his head, and thought, looks like business alliance of Fu family is having a hard time. Fu Shishan helped me before. Moreover, she seems to have appeared in my memory before. No matter what, I have to return the favor she helped me with. How can I help her? Alchemy? Refining? Or making battle armor? None of this works. Alchemy, refining, his current alchemy technique could not compare to the powerhouse of God's tribe, but as for the production of battle armor, this was even worse. The battle uniform was used for self-protection, he could not refine a set of battle armor for everyone, because then his advantage would be lost. Zhu Tian looked at Long Fei, and said, Brother Long, don't think too much about it. There is less than a month until Donghuang College's recruitment time, hurry up and buy a spirit-gathering pill. Long Fei laughed, he did not plan to enter the Donghuang College. Just as Long Fei was about to return the pellet in his hand to Zhu Tian, his idea moved and thought to himself, is its attribute really that strong? Curiosity. He opened the system and checked. Seeing the attribute of the spirit gathering pill, Long Fei's pupils suddenly tightened. Evil pill. Chapter 2883 Serious. Chapter 2883 Serious item. Psionic condensing pill attribute. Evil true spirit. 0 special attribute. GU Ling description. This pill uses a Gu's spirit core to enter the pubes and absorb the surrounding heaven and earth's true spirit energy to solidify the user's body, strengthening the user's body to become a GU nest, controlling the user. Description 2. Unknown attribute. The attributes of the spirit gathering pill were obvious to the system. Long Fei was stunned. If he was not curious, he would not have used the system to test for spirit gathering pills. He never expected that the spirit gathering pill was actually a evil pill. The evil pills were evil pills refined by evil factions alchemists. Plague pill, heart control pill, a pill that uses humans as a medium to create all sorts of evil pills. The spirit gathering pill had another name, a GU Ling pill, a small GU worm in the spirit pill that was hard to detect. After consuming it, it could quickly enter the pubes and become invisible. Not even that. It can rapidly absorb the heaven and earth's true spirit energy for the host, allowing the host to make a breakthrough in a short amount of time, thus stabilizing its absorption. Once the GU worm takes shape, that is when it takes control of the host. This pill was extremely dangerous. Zhu Tian looked at Long Fei and asked, "Brother Long, what evil pill are you talking about?" Long Fei looked at Zhu Tian and asked, "How many people have bought these pills so far?" Zhu Tian said, "Roughly half of it, I think. All the large clans bought it in bulk, and my Zhu family also bought 3,000. What about it? Is there a problem?" There were hundreds of millions of people in East Imperial City. Cultivating martial artists numbered in the tens of millions, and half of them were. This number was too terrifying. Long Fei's brows tightened, and said, "Go back and tell your patriarch not to consume this pill for the time being." "What's wrong? Isn't this pill great? You should eat it earlier and become stronger faster. You don't know that most of my classmates have already consumed it, and their cultivation is much higher than mine. If I take it slowly, I really won't be able to keep up." Zhu Tian did not understand. "It seems like the situation has already exceeded my imagination." Long Fei's face changed. Suddenly he shook and said, "You said your class? Where's Su Su? Did she take it too?" Zhu Tian said, "I haven't seen Su Su since the last time I came back from Night Valley. She seems to have been placed under house arrest by her father. I don't know if she took it or not, but with the Su family's power, I am afraid they will not miss out on the spirit gathering pill. After all, the breakthrough that the pill brought to the warriors was too strong." "Crap." Long Fei's heart sank, and immediately said, "Can you bring me to the city lord's mansion?" Zhu Tian said, "Even if I went to the city lord's mansion, you wouldn't be able to see Su Su. Maybe you don't know yet, but Su Su has an engagement with a disciple from a wealthy family, and he is an all-purpose genius, and is even more powerful than a genius like Lian Wuchao. I heard that he is coming to propose marriage now. If you go, the city lord will not allow you to meet Su Su." Hey! Long Fei's expression tensed up. He had already guessed that she would definitely come looking for him based on his personality. It was just that Long Fei did not expect her to marry him again. Long Fei replied, "I'm not looking for Su Su, I'm looking for the city lord." Zhu Tian looked at Long Fei and said, "Brother Long, it's useless to find anyone. Honestly speaking, you are not bad, you have courage and foresight, and you are handsome too, and now you also have the Dean of Donghuang College as your backer. It can be said that you can pick the women from the East Imperial City. However, compared to Su Su's fiancé, you are still too far away, so I advise you not to go. The Su clan will not accept you." The meaning behind his words was very clear. Long Fei did not have the qualifications to become the son-in-law of the Su family. What was his identity? And what was Su Su's identity? How could she marry him? Long Fei did not want to waste time with him, so he was not in the mood to waste time with him. He directly asked, "Where is the city lord's mansion?" Zhu Tian said, "The city lord's mansion is at the summit of the East City." Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei disappeared from the streets, and Long Fei's voice sounded in his mind, "Remember what I said, don't take any spirit gathering pills. Zhu Tian was startled for half a minute, then stared at the spirit-gathering pill in his hand and muttered, "Why can't I consume it? What is Brother Long doing now?" At this moment, Nalan Xia came over and asked, "What are you blanking out for? Why haven't you taken a spirit-gathering pill yet? Could it be that you want to be a burden for your class? I heard that Chen Ao consumed 3 spirit-gathering pellets consecutively, and broke through 2 realms in a single day. Take it earlier and get stronger faster." Exactly. Winter is approaching. Whether or not I can become the representative of the Donghuang College will depend on this pill. Brother Tian, what are you daydreaming for? Zhu Tian hesitated. Just now, Brother Long Fei told me not to consume it. I don't know what's going on. Forget it. Whatever. I can't be a mule in my class. In the end, Zhu Tian made a choice and put the spirit-gathering pill into his mouth and swallowed it. The medicinal pill entered his body. A burst of burning feeling, with some slight stabbing pain, quickly burrowed into his pubes, and immediately after, it was as if there was a ball of fire burning within his pubes. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Numerous light buzzing sounds rang, and Zhu Tian felt the surrounding heaven and earth origin energy rush uncontrollably into his pubes. This kind of feeling had never happened before. It was too strong, and also too refreshing. Zhu Tian's face was also flushed red, as he became incomparably excited. I feel like I'm about to break through. This pill is too magical. Chen Ao consumed 3 pills. My Zhu family bought 3,000 pills, and I will swallow 10 more when I go back. Next semester, I will trample Chen Ao beneath my feet. Zhu Tian was in high spirits. The spirit-gathering pill allowed him to float around. The feeling of becoming strong was too refreshing. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. East Imperial City is truly worthy of being a piece of wild land. Everyone in the city is going crazy for the spirit parasite pellet. Ha ha ha. Elder Hua, our plan is perfect. East Imperial City. In the underground room of a huge garden courtyard house. Several men in black robes were all smiles. They were all looking at the old man sitting on the seat of honor. I am dressed in a purple robe with a skull emblem embroidered on the chest. This is the emblem of an evil faction's alchemist. The purple robe had a high position in the evil sect's Pill Alliance. All of this is thanks to Elder Hua. As expected of the number 1 person in the evil sect's Pill Alliance, using a GU to form a pill, then absorbing the breath of true spirit from a person and then controlling a GU worm, this method is too brilliant. Elder Hua is awesome. The Bloodblade doesn't have a name, it can directly control the East Imperial City in your hands. When it's time to harvest. How much energy does the breath of true spirit have in the bodies of tens of millions of warriors? Elder Hua is too amazing. Hua Hong laughed coldly, and said, all the elders must also have contributed a great deal. Since I'm working for the young master, I dare not claim credit for it. Nothing can go wrong before the young master arrives. During this time, I will refine another batch of evil powder that can control the celestial phenomenon realm. Prepare 100 children for me. A black-robed elder immediately said, understood. Table of Contents. Table of Contents. The more vicious the pill, the more vicious, sinister, and unscrupulous the pill was made of. The demonic pill refiners had never been accepted by the upright pill union, but any evil pill's value would far surpass an ordinary medicinal pellet. Because of evil. A powerful evil force. City Lord's Mansion, Su Clan. Although it was located on the peak of the mountain, it was just like the Suzhou Gardens in his previous life, a small bridge, flowing water, verdant and verdant. Long Fei, what is he doing here? Was a little shocked. When he thought about Su Su, his eyebrows involuntarily tightened as he said faintly, are you here for Su Su? The guard replied, reporting to my lord, he directly said that he did not come for the Miss O. Su Wantu was even more shocked. He had only met Long Fei once in the Night Valley and they did not interact much. The targets of the various families fawning, coming here at this time? The guard asked, sir, do you want to see him? Su Wantu hesitated for a moment, then said, take him to the Great Hall and wait for me. Yes, sir. The guard withdrew. An old man walked over from beside Su Wantu and asked, "What is he doing here?" And he even directly said that he didn't come for the miss, as if he was worried that you wouldn't go and see him. Su Wantu smiled faintly and said, "If that's not the case, how did he manage to enter the city lord's mansion?" In his opinion, Long Fei had still come for Su Su. Otherwise, what else could it be? The elder asked, "Then why did the lord allow him to enter the manor?" Su Wantu said, "I let him in, and didn't say I was going to see him. Sigh. If I were him, he wouldn't play such a small trick. Doesn't he know who I am? You really want to climb up my Su family's branch? Do you think you can marry my daughter after saving Su Su a few times? He really doesn't have the qualifications." There was no disdain in Su Wantu's eyes. Because, in his eyes, Long Fei was not even qualified to make him feel contempt. Moreover, at this time, he also didn't want to see Long Fei. He only wanted to wait in the palace to tell him that you don't have the qualifications to marry my daughter. Half an hour later, Long Fei asked, "Is the mayor still busy?" The guard replied, "This little one doesn't know. The mayor just said to make you wait here." Long Fei said, "Can I trouble you to inform him that I have urgent matters to attend to? I hope that he can meet me once." The guard said, "I told the higher-ups what you wanted to say earlier. You can wait here peacefully." Long Fei was very anxious. The more he thought about it, the more anxious he became. It was very possible that a single pill could harm the entire East Imperial City, and it would soon be the beginning of winter. If the warriors in the city were controlled, then the ancient monster in the depths of western regions would not be able to hold on. An hour passed. Long Fei was still waiting. 2 hours passed. He was still waiting. Urgent. 3 hours, 4 hours had passed, and Long Fei was still waiting. From noon until evening. Su Wantu still had not appeared. In fact, when Su Wantu still had not appeared even after an hour, Long Fei could vaguely tell that Su Wantu did not wish to see him. But this matter was too important, and he had to get City Master Su Wantu to help to stop it. Otherwise, it would be impossible for Long Fei to stop it by himself. Therefore, Long Fei had been waiting. Until the sky darkened, Long Fei was still waiting. However, Long Fei wasn't as anxious as she was at the start. Instead, she was very calm. Long Fei walked to the door and asked, "Is the mayor not done yet?" The guard shook his head. "I don't know about that. But I heard that Sire has gone out. Are you still going to wait?" Long Fei laughed and said, "No need. Please help me relay to the city lord that thanks to him for returning the flying sword to me, and also thank Su Su for his help in such a long time. This is a small gift from me, please pass it to Su Su." Long Fei took out a space ring S. Inside was a mischievous elf battle uniform. According to Su Su's little sister's personality, she should like it. Following that, Long Fei continued, "I've waited for 6 hours and 17 minutes today. If the mayor wants to find me, please make him wait 3 days. Finished." Long Fei left in large strides without turning his head back. The guard was stunned. He returned to his senses and disdainfully said, "Who the hell do you think you are? Making the mayor wait for 3 days. In the entire East Imperial City, there has never been such an awesome person." Tch. It was extremely disdainful. Honestly speaking, Long Fei was very, very angry in his heart. This was clearly not his city. He only had a few friends in the city. No matter how many people died in the city, no matter how many were controlled, they would not do anything to him. He originally wanted the Su family to stop them. He had been waiting all afternoon. What was he waiting for? Despicable. Taunt. Long Fei could feel these. Letting him enter the Su clan was also a form of charity. He was not qualified to enter the Su clan. That was why he said those last words. "You displeased me. Sorry, I will make you feel even worse in the future. Today you ignored me, tomorrow I will make you unable to climb higher." Su Wantu laughed, and said, "Did he really say that?" The guard replied, "That's what I said. I have never seen such an arrogant person." Ha ha ha. Su Wantu laughed and waved, "You may leave." The elder walked up to him and said, "You're young and full of vigor. You really take yourself seriously. Forget it, Everyone from the lower planes are all like that. He probably hasn't figured out that this is the universal realm and not their lower plane yet. Su Wantu's tone was full of contempt, and then he looked at the space ring in his hand, and saw what was inside. He was slightly taken aback. It's a piece of cloth. The old man asked, clothes? Su Wantu said indifferently, Su will definitely like this piece of clothes. Just nice. Letting the Son of Heaven give it to her can be considered pleasing. The old man also revealed a disdainful sneer, looks like that kid really did come for Little Miss. If he wants to make Little Miss happy, he really should take a piss and look at himself, and recognize himself. Don't you know who you are? Him. Humph. He really doesn't know his place. Huff. Walking out of the Su family's residence, Long Fei stood on the main street and let out a long sigh. Did you get it? I've bought it. I've broken through a level today. Ha ha ha. Powerful, formidable, I've broken through as well. The effects of the spirit gathering pill are too great. If you don't think about it, compared to the spirit gathering pill, the Zungling pills is just dog shit. Long Fei wanted to go up and try to persuade them, but they had already consumed it. Persuading them was useless. We don't even know if we'll fall into the abyss. Looking at the crowd on the street discussing about the spirit concentrating pills, Long Fei felt an inexplicable pain. If the Su clan did not appear, who else could appear to stop them? Long Fei laughed bitterly. East Imperial City is probably going to be done soon. At this moment, it was unknown when Qian Yang suddenly stood behind Long Fei and said, Mr. Long, the principal request. Chapter 2885, Forging a Pill from a Pill. Chapter 2885, Forging a Pill from a Pill. Fu Shishan could not see it. Su Wantu could not see it. Long Fei stood on the street, hesitating and at a loss. He did not know what to do. He knew in his heart that no one would believe him. Who would believe a person from the lower realms? Who would give up the opportunity to break through so quickly? Everyone hoped to become stronger. If Long Fei didn't know that the spirit gathering pill was actually a evil powder, he would also take it. Sigh. Is there really no other way? Long Fei sighed in his heart. Looking at the people walking on the street and listening to the discussions about the spirit gathering pill, his heart ached for some unknown reason. He was not a saint, nor was he a good person. However, he really didn't want this place to become a dead city. He had no way to change it, but Long Fei did not give up. He was still thinking of a way, no matter what, to save at least one person. At this moment, Qian Yang appeared. Long Fei was slightly surprised. After passing through a few long streets, they arrived at a rather remote and simple courtyard. Dean of Dong Huang College sat cross-legged. His body was tranquil and indifferent, with incense beside him. In the faint smoke, he looked like an old god. Hearing that, Dean of Dong Huang College opened his eyes and exhaled slowly. The true spirit in his body calmed down. He stood up and revealed a kind smile to Long Fei, and said, You went to the Su family and touched a wall. Long Fei smiled, bowed and said, Greetings Lord Principal, and thank you for your help, I will forever remember this. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Dean of Dong Huang College waved his hand and said, Hi, let's not talk about this anymore. Tell me about what happened to you today. Why do you insist on seeing City Lord Su? Is it really for his daughter Su? If it's for his daughter, then I advise you to give up on this idea. It would be better for you to wholeheartedly focus on your cultivation. In all of East Imperial City, there was probably no one who knew the Su family and Su Wantu more than him. Su Wantu wholeheartedly wanted to leave the East Imperial City, so he had been looking for opportunities. However, he knew that with his cultivation, it would be difficult to improve, and at his current age, Fatri sect simply did not think much of him. By chance, descendant of God's tribe took a fancy to his daughter. This was an excellent opportunity for him to talk to the Su clan. Naturally, he would not let anyone destroy this perfect opportunity. It was only natural for the water to flow to the bottom and the people to walk to the top. Long Fei said, The principal has misunderstood. I am not going to the Su family for Su, but for another important matter. It concerns the safety of the entire city. Oh. The dean of Donghuang College was startled, and couldn't help but look at Chen Yang from the corner of his eyes. He didn't care, but he would know anything that happened in the city. The Donghuang College had its own independent information department. Chen Yang said, "Something big happened in the city? Why don't I know?" Long Fei replied, "Spirit gathering pill." Chen Yang said, "Spirit gathering pill?" With the cold winter approaching, even warriors with the help of the spirit gathering pills can level up. This is a good thing, and the prices are cheap, so I can basically afford it. To the warriors of the East Imperial City, this is like a chance, a good thing that cannot be missed. Hearing him say this, Long Fei knew that Chen Yang did not know about the dangers of the spirit gathering pill. The dean of Donghuang College smiled faintly and said, "Could it be because the spirit gathering pill overshadowed your Zhongling pills?" Long Fei was startled, and thought in his heart, "Does he know that I refined the Zhongling pills?" He did not admit nor deny it. The spirit pill is indeed powerful. It allows a person to frantically absorb their true spirit for a short period of time, allowing them to quickly break through their shackles. But, have you ever thought about why a 6th-grade medicinal pellet is sold so cheaply? 100 grand mist crystals is not even enough for a spirit grass. Furthermore, why is there a limit of 1 pellet for each person? Chen Yang replied, "Everyone says that the merchant union that is stationed in East Imperial City this time is an outer sect of the Gods tribe. Rumor has it that it's the Gods tribe's charity for the East Imperial City. Also, a place that the merchant union has set up to seize the market and sell high-grade elixirs at a low price. This is a very normal thing to do." Dean of Donghuang College looked at Long Fei and asked, "Is there a problem with the spirit gathering pill?" Long Fei nodded and said, "It is an evil pill." As soon as he finished speaking, Dean of Donghuang College and Chen Yang's eyes trembled as they stared at Long Fei. Long Fei continued to speak, "Not only is it the evil pill, it is also an extremely sinister type of Jiu Lingdan. When you consume the pill, the Jiu worm in the pill will quickly enter your body, and in order to make the Jiu worm stronger, it will release its own energy, which will allow the host to absorb a large amount of breath of true spirit, to break through, to become stronger, and at the same time, the Jiu worm will also become stronger. More than half of East Imperial City's tens of millions of warriors have already bought spirit gathering pills, and the other half are in the process of being purchased. Once the time is up, I'm afraid, East Imperial City will become a puppet city, and that's only the best side. The worst side will be when tens of millions of warriors die, and in the dead of winter, the ancient monster in western regions will trample over East Imperial City. Dean of Donghuang College was stunned. Chen Yang's expression was the same as if he had heard a mythical story. He looked at Long Fei in shock, his face filled with disbelief. After a long time, Dean of Donghuang College said, "This is no small matter. Do you have any evidence?" Evidence? Long Fei was startled. This was something that he had seen through the system. It was impossible for him to tell that there was a system in his head that could see through all the attributes of treasures, right? Long Fei shook his head and said, "No." Chen Yang said, "How did you know without evidence?" "Mr. Long, this is not a joke. Once you make it difficult, you will be invincible against all the warriors in the East Imperial City." Long Fei said firmly, "But I am 100% sure that spirit gathering pills are evil pill." Dean of Donghuang College looked at Long Fei, his eyes tensed up, as though he was trying to see through him. After listening for half a minute, he said, "You came to the Su family because of this matter?" Long Fei nodded, "Yes." Dean of Donghuang College exhaled, then said, "It's been hard on you. What do you want me to do?" These words caused Long Fei to be secretly shocked. He never thought that the Dean of Donghuang College would actually support him when he could not take out any evidence, and this matter would drag everyone into it. Moreover, the power behind the spirit gathering pill must be very strong, otherwise, it wouldn't be viable. Long Fei pondered for a moment, then said, "I need some people to help me." "Who?" Dean of Donghuang College asked. Long Fei said, "The strongest alchemy master in the East Imperial City, at the same time, is a trustworthy person." Dean of Donghuang College was stunned. "What do you want these people for?" Long Fei said, "Pills against pills, pill alliance against pill alliance. Since he is a evil pill, then let's develop a new pill to defeat him." He would concoct a pill from a pill. It was also a form of gambling. This was the only thing that Long Fei could think of at the moment. However, time was running out. If he couldn't come up with a way to deal with it, then he would lose. He was betting the entire East Imperial City. Chapter 2886 Convener. Chapter 2886 Convener. The stakes were high. But it was the only way. Once the announcement that the spirit-gathering pill was an evil pill was made, it would cause panic. This was not the most fatal thing. The most fatal thing was that everyone believed that Long Fei prevented them from breaking through. There was a saying, breaking off a person's road to wealth was akin to killing one's parents. In terms of a martial artist's cultivation, breaking through was like killing their entire family. He would definitely not let Long Fei live. Furthermore, the power behind the spirit-gathering pill is hidden. You don't even know how strong he is. If Long Fei were to announce it, he will become the public enemy of the entire East Imperial City. Dean of Donghuang College thought for a moment, that is a good idea. But Dean of Donghuang College looked at Long Fei and said, are you confident you can produce a pill to fight against the Jiyu spirit pill? Chen Yang was also looking at Long Fei. Long Fei shook his head and replied truthfully, no. Dean of Donghuang College's gaze tensed up. Long Fei said, but I will do my best. Dean of Donghuang College took a deep breath out and said, Elder Chen, go call Song Tiancheng, the Alchemy Union's president and vice president over. Chen Yang immediately said, Lord Principal, isn't this too? He did not even confirm the pill, and he still trusted Long Fei? The Dean of Donghuang College did not explain and said, go call the others first. Chen Yang did not dare delay and immediately replied, yes. Long Fei slightly said, Principal, I have a presumptuous request, can you let Business Alliance of Fu family participate as well? Fu Shishan had helped him before. Moreover, this name was very strong in his subconscious, just like someone he had met before. Now that the Business Alliance of Fu family was in trouble, even if the elders say something, Long Fei still wanted to help the Business Alliance of Fu family. As long as the Business Alliance of Fu family was involved, once the obstruction was successful, the Business Alliance of Fu family's position in the East Imperial City would instantly rise. This was a very good opportunity. The Dean of Donghuang College did not hesitate and said to Chen Yang, also invite the manager of Business Alliance of Fu family over. Chen Yang nodded, yes. Long Fei said, I'll head back first. Dean of Donghuang College replied, all right. Long Fei left quickly and hadn't returned home for an entire day. He was worried that Lan Mai would become anxious. Watching Long Fei leave, the Dean of Donghuang College asked softly, what does this have to do with the Mu clan after all? Why was the Mu clan looking for him? Kill him? It doesn't seem like it. If I kill him, I don't even need to use the divine mourning token. Then what is it for? He had been searching through the history of the Mu clan the entire night, but he hadn't found anything. However, from the looks of what happened today, he felt that Long Fei was not simple. Regardless of the level of one's cultivation, Long Fei's view of the overall situation was already extremely hard to come by. Dean of Donghuang College muttered, looks like I'll have to wait until this matter is over before heading to Xiao Yarrow City. Cannon, come out. He answered about the residents before his death. Long Fei called Tan De Pao, who was secretly protecting him, down. Tan De Pao said in a low voice, everything is normal for sister-in-law, she is now like a little girl living at home. Long Fei said, I may have to leave for a period of time, but I will always be at East Imperial City, don't worry. Also, do not consume the relatively popular spirit-gathering pills recently. Tan De Pao nodded, understood. He did not ask why, because whatever Long Fei said was the truth. Long Fei said, when I'm not around, you have to protect Lan Mai well. Tan De Pao nodded, and said, don't worry, I know about that. After finishing his instructions, Long Fei walked into the room. Now that it was already late in the night, he looked at Lan Mai, who was fast asleep on the bed, and quietly sat on the edge of the bed. Lan Mai didn't care if Lan Mai heard or not, and said softly, I'm going out to cultivate for a period of time. Also, don't give up. You are my, Long Fei's, woman. Even if Clear Sky Prison is sealed, So what if your lifeline is sealed? If I, Long Fei, do not agree, no one can even think of stopping me. I will definitely help you find a way to resolve the life vein congestion. Finished. Long Fei glanced at Lan Mai. He wanted to go up and kiss him, but he was afraid that he would wake Lan Mai up. In the end, he could only give up and lightly exit the room. The moment Long Fei left the room, the tears at the corner of Lan Mai's eyes could not help but flow down. She had been awake the entire time, and after hearing what had just been said, her heart was moved to a complete mess. He said that I am his woman, and I am his woman. Lan Mai, oh Lan Mai, just how much fortune did you cultivate in your past life for your current generation to be able to make me meet such a good man? But is there any way to unblock my blocked lifeline? If there is, it should be the last method that father told me to do, right? If not for, I would rather choose to die. If it's with Long Fei, Thinking about it, Lan Mai's cheeks flushed red, extremely bashful. This body fusion might be her only chance. However, she had to merge with the holy vein. If she did not have the holy vein, her fate was to suffer a backlash and die. Is Long Fei a holy vein? She didn't know. Right now, she only knew that she was Long Fei's woman. Even if she could live, she would definitely not merge with other men. Even if she died, she wouldn't. You want me to go to the Donghuang College to discuss it? Could it be that you want to give my business alliance of Fu family the chilling winter supplies? When Fu Shishan received Qian Yang's personal invitation, her pitch-black face finally broke into a smile. The few elders were also excited. As long as we can win this cooperation, then our business alliance of Fu family will be saved. That's right. It's winter soon. Our business alliance of Fu family has placed all of our focus on the supply of winter of that year. As long as we take down this agreement, we don't have to worry about anything anymore. Receiving the Dean of Donghuang College's invitation, they all inwardly heaved a sigh of relief. Qian Yang reminded them in particular, please keep the matter regarding the invitation a secret. Fu Shishan immediately replied, understood. Naturally, he had to keep his trade secrets a secret. Qian Yang slightly said, all right, then Boss Fu, please come with me. Fu Shishan did not stay any longer and immediately took his leave. You want me to go to Donghuang College to discuss something? It's already so late. If there's something urgent, can't it be tomorrow? The president of the Alchemy Union, Lu Yaohe, had a face of reluctance. In his arms were two cute and tender women with white skin, who were also acting coquettishly. Master, we're not going anymore. Exactly. Lu Yaohe pinched their fleshy areas and said, I still need an invitation to go to Dean of Donghuang College. All right, you guys get me dressed. He was unhappy, but he did not dare to reject Dean of Donghuang College's invitation. No matter what, he was Donghuang College's honorary alchemy great instructor. In comparison to the president, Alchemy Union's vice president Wu Li had arrived early. The second one who rushed over was Donghuang College's great instructor Song Tiancheng. Then there was the Long Fei. Song Tiancheng was slightly shocked when he saw Long Fei, and his words contained a trace of contempt. Why are you here? Dean, why is he here? Brat, this isn't a place you should be, hurry up and get lost. Chapter 2887, GU Worm Outbreak. Chapter 2887, GU Worm Outbreak. He had a look of despise on his face. Long Fei was already extremely unhappy during the last auction. Seeing it again today, especially in the Donghuang College made Song Tiancheng even more unhappy. What is your identity? Don't you have your own points? Is this also a place where you can come? Song Tiancheng's face was filled with contempt. Long Fei was dissatisfied in his heart, but Song Tiancheng was still someone that the Dean of Donghuang College had called over, so he endured it and did not make a sound. But Song Tiancheng did not let it go. This old man is talking to you. Are you deaf? I told you to get out of here. Didn't you hear me? Endure it once, twice. Long Fei could not tolerate it and directly said, the one who is going to get out is probably you, right? Song Tiancheng's eyes twitched, and he bellowed, Brat, you're tired of living. Do you know who you're talking to? Long Fei said, talking to dogs, could it be to humans? How come I see that it is a dog? And his still a shameless dog Song Tiancheng was instantly enraged. The aura on his body suddenly exploded. Wang Long Fei was also not someone to be trifled with. Staring at him, he immediately shouted, "I can even kill Lian Kaijiang, if you have the guts, try it in front of me. You're making Laozi unhappy. You want to feel good." Song Tiancheng's body immediately sank. Lian Kaijiang was at the peak of the supreme realm, so his strength was at most at half of Lian Kaijiang's level. Although he did not hear about Long Fei killing Lian Kaijiang at the scene, he had heard all kinds of discussions about it. It could be said that it was an instant kill. If that was really the case, he was really no match for Long Fei. Song Tiancheng's expression secretly changed. Wu Li walked forward while chuckling and said, "Don't hurt our relationship. Instructor Song, please don't lower yourself to the younger generation, and there must be a reason why Brother Long Fei is here. If the dean hadn't invited him, he wouldn't have come, right?" Song Tiancheng slightly retracted the aura on his body, swung his sleeves, and coldly snorted, He looked away. Wu Li looked at Long Fei and said, "Brother Long, you're famous in the East Imperial City now." Long Fei laughed. Wu Li said, "You must introduce me to the senior who refined the Zhengling pills." Song Tiancheng contemptuously said, "Zhengling pills? It's already out of date. The spirit gathering pill is 100 times better than the Zhengling pills. President Wu, you should study the spirit gathering pill." It was extremely disdainful. Long Fei was also unwilling to lag behind, and said, "I'm afraid that there are people who are unable to develop it. You must have wasted all those pills you bought, right?" Song Tiancheng's gaze tightened with hatred. Indeed. The Zhengling pills that he had bought were all wasted on his research, and not a single one of them was used, wasting a large amount of money. At this moment, as Fu Shishan walked into the courtyard, the first person he saw was Long Fei. His eyes flickered and a bit of tears flickered as he ran in front of Long Fei and threw himself into Long Fei's embrace, his face full of worry. "Why didn't you come for me when you came back? Do you know how worried I am about you? Do you know how afraid I am to lose you again?" His entire body could be said to have collapsed in an instant. He completely ignored the dumbstruck expressions of the people around him. Recently, she had been worrying about Long Fei. However, because of business alliance of Fu family's current predicament, coupled with the pressure from the various elders, making her unable to leave the merchant union, she had been looking forward to Long Fei finding her. But after a day had passed and Long Fei still had not appeared, she became even more worried that the situation in God's martial continent would repeat itself. As time passed, she had lost Long Fei. Although it was impossible to prove it, in Fu Shishan's heart, the current Long Fei was the one on the God's martial continent. His personality was completely the same. Long Fei hugged Fu Shishan, and said in a low voice, "It's my fault, it's my fault. Don't be like this, many people are watching." He did not say that he had gone to the business alliance of Fu family. He did not want the elders of the business alliance of Fu family and Fu Shishan to become enemies. Fu Shishan played with his temper and said, "I don't care." Wu Li revealed an envious smile. "Brother Long sure is lucky." Song Tiancheng had a look of despise on his face. At this moment, the president of the Alchemy Union, Lu Yaohe, walked in. Seeing Fu Shishan leaning on Long Fei's chest, his eyes lit up, and he said slightly, "Which family is this lady from, to be so pretty?" As he stared at Fu Shishan's chest and face, his Adam's apple couldn't help but roll. He raised his eyes to look at Long Fei, and then said coldly with an annoyed expression, "Who is this kid?" "Instructor Song, who is he?" Song Tiancheng laughed and said, "He is famous, he flew up from the lower planes. He needs inherent skills and no inherent skills, he needs blood veiness and he also needs to be a poor kid who wants to eat swan meat like a toad. I think he's deaf. Let him fly. F***CK. What rubbish. Is this also a place where you can come? Get out." Lu Yaohe's face instantly changed as he stared coldly at Long Fei, feeling extremely displeased. Especially when Fu Shishan was in Long Fei's embrace, he was even more unhappy. Fu Shishan also had a face full of unhappiness, her eyes spouted fire as she looked at Song Tiancheng. Wu Li whispered a few words into Lu Yaohe's ear. Lu Yaohe's face was filled with disdain, and said, "Long Fei? So what? Isn't it a muggle from a lower plane? People from the lower realms were not to be looked down upon. The trash in the eyes of the natives of Universal Realm. The person who seized the cultivation resources. At this time, the Dean of Donghuang College walked out of the courtyard. Everyone quieted down. Fu Shishan also left Long Fei's embrace. Dean of Donghuang College went straight to the point. The reason I called you over so late is because I have something urgent to discuss with you guys. Recently, the fiery spirit gathering pills on the market was actually made by the demonic sect's pill masters. This is our negligence. The reason I called you here is to develop a strategy to deal with the spirit gathering pill. As soon as he finished speaking, other than Long Fei and Chen Yang, the other three were all shocked. Lu Yaohe said, I've examined the spirit gathering pill, there's no evil spirit grass present, it's a very normal pill. Song Tiancheng was also puzzled, I have verified it too, there is nothing strange about it. They were all 7th stage alchemists and top alchemy masters within the East Imperial City. Wu Li did not say anything. He was a grade 6 alchemist, so he did not have the qualifications to speak in front of a grade 7 alchemist. The Dean of Donghuang College said, the spirit gathering pill is a evil pill, moreover it's a GU spirit pill. There are GU worms hidden within the pills, and they look exactly the same as normal pills. GU. Their eyes darkened. Their hands unconsciously touched their stomachs. Long Fei noticed this detail and thought, seems like they all consumed spirit-gathering pills. Not only that. The spirit-gathering pills they consumed were even specially made. Lu Yaohe's pupils slightly changed, and she said, Lord Headmaster, how do you know about all these? It's not like you're a alchemy master. This was all people that the Dean of Donghuang College trusted, so he didn't hide anything and said, it was Long Fei who found out, and he was the one who asked me to call you all here. You are all the top alchemy masters within the city. Without waiting for Dean of Donghuang College to finish. Suddenly, Lu Yaohe's eyes suddenly became gold, his gaze became gloomy as he stared straight at Long Fei, giving him no chance, a palm striking towards Long Fei's head. It was so fast that no one could react in time. However, Long Fei's gaze tightened, and at the moment Lu Yaohe pounced, the killing flying sword moved. Shua. A sword flew out. Chapter 2888 Alchemy Technique Plus 2. Chapter 2888 Alchemy Technique Plus 2. Everything had happened too quickly, completely unexpected. If Long Fei hadn't noticed Lu Yaohe's slight movement in advance, he wouldn't have reacted so quickly. And then again. With the fusion of the flying sword ancient inheritance, its sensitivity and reaction were all due to the Mahayana realm. It would react instantly if it felt even the slightest bit of danger. Roar! Lu Yaohe roared, like a demon beast. Her 5 fingers formed a claw, locking towards Long Fei's throat. At this moment, the suppressive force formed by the immense power of his body came crushing down one after another. The power of the thunder heavily struck. Long Fei! Fu Shishan exclaimed. Too fast. No one reacted, adding that Lu Yaohe was only a few meters away from them. At that distance, even the Dean of Donghuang College's royal realm would not be able to save him. Dean of Donghuang College bellowed, Lu Yaohe, rumble. Die. Lu Yaohe spat out a word and locked his claws down. But, just as his claws were about to grab onto Long Fei's throat, just half a centimeter away from his throat, a sharp fingernail had already pierced a bloody gash on Long Fei's throat. His body suddenly froze. Lu Yaohe's eyes suddenly widened, and his eyeballs seemed as if they were about to pop out. Both eyes stared at Long Fei, and his body uncontrollably trembled. It twitched. His hands were still frantically trying to reach out and kill Long Fei. However, there was a sudden movement between his eyebrows. Swish! A flying sword pierced through. It directly pierced through the space between his eyebrows from the back of his head. After the flying sword pierced through him, it moved in the air and instantly disappeared without a trace, returning to Long Fei's pubis. However, Long Fei felt that his flying sword was a little weak. It was as if he had been severely injured. Thought for a while, I have to find a good material as soon as possible to fix it. Bam! The flying sword exploded, instantly killed. Lu Yaoha's eyes burned with anger, and he died with grievance. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Lu Yaoha. You have received 100,000 experience, 100,000 true spiritual value, 1 universal value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the 1,000-year spirit fruit. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining secret technique, spirit boosting pill technique. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Grand Mist crystal, 183032 crystals. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Elementalist level, 7. Ding. Congratulations player Long Fei for killing Lu Yaoha. You have obtained a special reward. Reward, Alchemy Technique +2. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. My one is wiping. There were so many notifications all of a sudden. Not only did he receive special level of experience, what surprised Long Fei the most was that he actually received a system reward, and even directly raised his alchemy technique by 2 levels. Don't just look at how small the 2 level of alchemy technique was. If he were to use his time to pile it up, he was afraid that it would never be able to level up again in the next 2 months. Awesome, my system bro. Long Fei secretly praised her. The system BPS were always so beautiful that Long Fei was unable to extricate himself from them. Brat, you dare to kill the president of Alchemy Union, Song Tiancheng suddenly said. Immersed in his wild joy, Long Fei abruptly woke up and coldly asked, "Are you blind?" Everyone recovered from the shock. They were all dumbstruck as they looked at Long Fei, whose head had been pierced, with disbelief in their hearts. Although Lu Yaohe was a pill cultivator, he was still a senior realm cultivator. Long Fei was killed in 1 move. This was too abnormal. Song Tiancheng said solemnly, "Brat, you have publicly killed the Alchemy Union's president. I can assure you, you won't live for long." While they were talking, Song Tiancheng angrily took large steps away. Just as he was about to leave the courtyard, Long Fei coldly said, "Wait." The corner of Song Tiancheng's eyes shook, and he said, "What? Is there anything else you need?" Long Fei said, "You can't leave." Song Tiancheng stared at Long Fei, and said furiously, "You dog, you still want to stop me? Who do you think you are?" Long Fei said slightly, "If you want to leave, you can as well. Spit out the parasite from your pubes." As soon as he finished speaking, Song Tiancheng's expression changed drastically. Wu Li, Chen Yang, and the dean of Donghuang College's expression were cold as they stared at Song Tiancheng. Song Tiancheng shouted, "I don't know what you're talking about. Principal, you know Lu Yaoha's background very well. If we cannot give the Lu family an explanation on today's matter, I'm afraid no one here will be able to live." Song Tiancheng intentionally changed the topic. At the same time, he was also using Lu Yaoha's background to suppress the dean of Donghuang College. Lu Yaoha's strength was not strong, his alchemy was only mediocre, but he was still able to become the president of the East Imperial City not because of his strength, but because of his background. This was something that everyone knew. Wu Li's eyes flashed. The Lu family is an alchemy family, and there are many great elders in the Pill Alliance who are members of the Lu family. Now that Lu Yaohe is dead, I'm afraid. Song Tiancheng said, "He was the one who killed him, we saw him, we can hand him over." Long Fei did not give Song Tiancheng a chance to change the topic and said, "I killed the person. If the Lu family is looking for trouble, just come find me. You won't be able to leave today. Either spit out the GU worm, or turn into me helping you spit out the GU worm." Song Tiancheng shouted in fury, "Brat, I don't even know what you're talking about." Dean of Donghuang College slightly said, "Sky City, I think you should stay here for today." Although he did not know why Lu Yaohe had suddenly launched a sneak attack, but there must be a reason. Furthermore, Long Fei gave him a feeling that he would not do it carelessly. Song Tiancheng's expression sank, and said, "Headmaster, you believe him too? Good, good, good." Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes moved. He wants to escape. Sure enough, Song Tiancheng's strength moved suddenly, and he leaped with all his might. It was just that. Without waiting for him to fly up, a wave of pressure came crashing down on him. Song Tiancheng was instantly crushed and fell to the ground. His face was flustered and exasperated, as he stared straight at Long Fei, like a berserk beast. Long Fei, this old man will not let you go. Long Fei grinned coldly, and said, with so many people not letting me go, who do you think you are? It was extremely disdainful. He was just worrying that he couldn't find the Xiao Bai mouse, and it just so happened that now, he didn't care who Song Tiancheng was or who Lu Yaohe was. There was no one that he couldn't offend. Somewhere, in the basement. Elder Hue, the Jiyu worm in Lu Yaohe's body has lost its continuity. I'm afraid it is dead. An old man hurriedly reported. The secret room was filled with densely packed jars. From time to time, the cries and screams of children could be heard from each jar. Hue Hong's eyes opened slightly, and said indifferently, I understand, once I finish refining this batch of Jiyu worms, everyone below the emperor level will become immortal. Ah, ha, ha. Chapter 2889 Using Your Body to Test for Poison. Chapter 2889 Using Your Body to Test for Poison. Let me out, let me out. Principal, that kid doesn't know anything. He's just a muggle from a lower plane. Do you believe him? Principal, Lu Yaohe is dead, we can't hide this matter from us. If we don't hand him over, we won't have a good ending. Principal. Song Tiancheng was imprisoned. Dean of Donghuang College did not say anything. His heart was under enormous pressure. Not to mention Lu Yaohe's background, just the Song family behind him was a noble of the East Imperial City. If the news of Song Tiancheng being locked up was leaked, the Song family would not let this matter go. It was imperative to develop a method to deal with the spirit-gathering pill as soon as possible. In the secret room, Dean of Donghuang College walked in and glanced at Chen Yang. Chen Yang immediately took out a space ring, and said, there are 50 spirit-gathering pills inside, if it's not enough, I can think of a way to buy them. Long Fei looked at Dean of Donghuang College, hesitating to speak. Dean of Donghuang College said, right now, don't say anything. I believe you. The fate of East Imperial City is in your hands. He did not say much. Since he had already done it, there was no point in saying anything else at this point of time. He could only choose to believe in Long Fei. But Dean of Donghuang College was not confident. Long Fei said heavily, thank you for your trust, I will definitely do my best. Dean of Donghuang College said, it's not that I have to give it my all, it's that I have to succeed. Long Fei replied, yes, all right, just tell Chen Yang anything you need, he will provide you with everything. Dean of Donghuang College explained as he turned around and walked out of the secret room. Looking at the dark sky, two deep eyes flashed, kid, I hope I didn't believe in the wrong person. If this is a success. Dean of Donghuang College did not finish his words, but a trace of excitement flashed past his eyes. Donghuang College and the City Lord Su family's influence had always been on par with each other. The Su family was one of the main families in the city and the Donghuang College was the master of the young warriors. If Donghuang College succeeded in this matter, then the influence would crush the Su family. It's up to you. The Dean of Donghuang College idea moved, sending a sound transmission. Without my order, no one is allowed to enter this place, no one is allowed to leave. A voice rang out from the darkness. It was incomparably low and deep. Yes. In the secret room. Long Fei took out a spirit-gathering pill and observed it carefully. Wu Li was also carefully observing and saying, I can't see any evil at all. At the beginning, the spirit-gathering pill also passed the examination in our alchemy union. Nothing. Many pills had to be inspected by the alchemy union if they were to be sold on the market. Especially in the foreign trade union, the pills they provided were much stricter. Long Fei knew about this too, and asked, aren't you going to use people to test it? Was there nothing wrong with the test? Wu Li shook his head, and said, no, at that time, it was personally tested by President Lu, and he himself took it. Lu Yaohe checked it personally. Long Fei was secretly shocked. Seems like the power behind the spirit-gathering pill is more than what I expected. To be able to be tested personally by the president of the alchemy union, one could imagine how extraordinary it was. While they were talking, Long Fei took out a surgical knife and gently broke open the pill. The liquid from the pill flowed out. It wasn't the fragrance of the spirit liquid, but a stench that assaulted the nostrils. It was like a dead mouse, extremely unpleasant to the nose. Fu Shishan immediately covered his nose. Wu Li also frowned. According to logic, the elixir should be the elixir, how could it be so smelly? Long Fei's expression did not change at all. His entire mind was focused on the liquid that was flowing out of the pill. He did not miss a single detail. Hey! No reason. Why aren't there any bugs? If it's a GU worm, then there should be a worm. Long Fei muttered to himself. He did not discover any worms moving about in the liquid. If it was only this stinky liquid, it would not prove anything. This world did not have advanced medical testing equipment, so it was impossible for them to test it. Even if it was stinky, it did not mean anything. And then, when Long Fei broke open another spirit gathering pill, he still did not discover anything. How could this be? Could it be that the GU is not in the liquid, but in the pills? Long Fei slowly crushed the spirit gathering pill, but he did not discover anything. Wu Li and Fu Shishan watched Long Fei from the side. Long Fei had completely entered into a state of selflessness. Long Fei did not manage to detect the existence of the GU worm after taking a few more studies on the pill. The system will not make any mistakes, there must be a GU worm inside the pill. But Long Fei frowned. Fu Shishan stepped forward and said gently, Long Fei, since the sky is already bright, why don't we rest and think about it? Long Fei shook his head and said, there isn't much time left, the people who took the spirit gathering pill are like leeks, we don't know when they were harvested. If it erupted like Lu Yaohe, the East Imperial City would instantly become chaotic and become a dead city. Not a minute to waste. Huff. Long Fei's eyes twitched. He once again took out the spirit concentrating pill and said, there is a god farmer to taste the grass, in order to save more people. I am not that noble, but I do not want to let those innocent people die. The dissecting pills were unable to find a solution. Then go and try it yourself. Picking up the pill, Long Fei directly placed it in his mouth. Fu Shishan, Wu Li, and even the one with eyes closed, Qian Yang all shook violently. Especially Fu Shishan, she said. Long Fei, you're courting death. Long Fei instantly sat cross-legged and used all his strength to sense and slowly refine the pill. As the pill entered his mouth, it quickly melted and that foul-smelling liquid was also instantly released from the pill. Next, the stinky liquid seemed to have life of its own as it crazily rushed into Long Fei's pubes. Long Fei's pubes suddenly twitched. A sharp pain pierced through his body. Soon after, a dense web of things like spider webs covered the entire pubes, and at that moment, Wong. Long Fei seemed to be able to grasp the breath of true spirit of heaven and earth, and it crazily surged into his body. After being sucked into his body, the energy on the pubes began to greedily absorb, and gradually, with his body, he was able to transform and take form. Long Fei suddenly opened his eyes, and quickly took out a spirit concentrating pill. Breaking through it once again, he searched even more carefully, but still could not find anything. The rank of this evil pill refiner is very high. Long Fei said in a heavy voice. Seeing Long Fei speak, Fu Shishan immediately came up and said, Long Fei, are you alright? You clearly know that you can't consume the spirit gathering pill, yet you swallowed it. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, don't worry. If he didn't do this, he had no idea how the GU was formed. Moreover, he didn't know how to think of a way to deal with it either. Now that the GU worm was taking shape in his pubes, Long Fei knew how it was formed and immediately said to Wu Li, President Wu, first decompose the spirit grass that refined this pill. Don't bother with the smelly spirit liquid, Wu Li immediately replied, understood. Huff. Long Fei let out a light breath. Absorbing breath of true spirit can allow it to grow quickly? All right. Then I'll see what you can grow into. 1 million breath of true spirit. Release it for me. Open. Chapter 2890 True Spirit Pills. Chapter 2890 True Spirit Pills. In the East Imperial City, the majority of the warriors who consumed spirit-gathering pills were at the spirit realm or below. This realm did not have much breath of true spirit and was also the best stage to break through to. It was unable to resist the stage that the GU worms were occupying the pubes. However, Long Fei was different. The number of breath of true spirit he possessed could be said to be more than the number of powerhouses in the senior realm. The true spiritual value was accumulated limitlessly, and there were no limitations. His true spiritual value had now reached more than 8 million. A million was nothing to him. A million true spiritual value. Release. Open for me. Let me see what you can grow into. When Long Fei moved, his true spiritual value surged out crazily like a flood. As for the GU worm on his pubes, it was like a vampire that was hungry for tens of thousands of years, absorbing madly. Boom. 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 As it crazily absorbed, its body, which was originally the size of an insect egg, crazily transformed as it continuously molted while it continued to grow bigger. The long tentacles on its body also continuously became larger, capturing the pubes in its abdomen. Finally, to the size of a thumb. But it had not yet left the pubes and was still occupying it. Every time he transformed, Long Fei felt a bit of pain. It was as if every part of his body was being sucked dry of him, as if his entire being was being sucked dry of his yang energy by a fox spirit. 1 million isn't enough. Then I'll give you another 5 million. Long Fei was like a madman. Open. Rumble. 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 After releasing 5 million breath of true spirit that thumb-sized GU worm became even more excited, and once again madly devoured it, but its body did not grow any bigger. However, the color of its body had changed. From a milky white color to black, then from black to light blue, then to purple. After absorbing the 5 million points of breath of true spirit, the parasite turned from purple to gold. It was also at this time. His body rolled over. All the tentacles began to shrink. The pubes calmed down, and the GU worm curled into a ball and slowly formed a cocoon. It laid there quietly, and stuck firmly to the pubes. Long Fei's body seemed to have been hollowed out. It was very hard. Is this the final form of the GU worm? Not to kill? Long Fei was suspicious, just absorbing the breath of true spirit. What's the use? Resurrection of a GU using a human as a host? It shouldn't be like this, it's too troublesome. Then why? Could it be? Is it for the breath of true spirit? In that instant, Long Fei's gaze suddenly tensed up, and his heart started to tremble. Every warrior's breath of true spirit was activated and absorbed. This was a type of cultivation process, and the obtained breath of true spirit was the result of this process. If he were to give thousands upon thousands of true spirit fruits to one person, then cold sweat dripped from his palms. Long Fei's eyes widened. At the same time, the idea moved. Convert it into normal practice mode. If it was the cultivation after absorbing the heaven and earth breath of true spirit, Long Fei let out a light sigh, and then, his body suddenly trembled the moment the aura entered the pubes' body. He simply could not control it at all. He spat out a mouthful of black blood. The pubes has become a forbidden ground. It's impossible to enter. If you enter, it will be severely injured, and if you try to force it, it will result in your death. The pubes has changed owners. This is too terrifying. Long Fei's face changed. Fu Shishan and Wu Li immediately came up and asked, Long Fei, how are you? Long Fei endured the pain. Instead, he asked, under normal circumstances, how many general-level warriors do you have? Use the data to tell me. Wu Li said, if I were to use numbers as an alternative, then I would be able to increase the amount of true qi at the 9th level of the natal stage to between 100 and 150,000, depending on how everyone cultivates. What about it? 10 to 100,000? Long Fei's pupils shook. Even if it's 100,000 points, 100,000, East Imperial City has tens of millions of warriors who consumed the spirit-gathering pellets. Then, what kind of number is that? Long Fei's mind sank. Too terrifying. Wu Li said, Long Fei, Tell us exactly what is going on. Long Fei did not explain anything and asked, did you manage to analyze the spirit grasses for the spirit gathering pill? Wu Li handed over a piece of paper and said, other than the stinky liquid, it was made by these spirit grass. The strange thing is that these spirit grass are all mild in nature, and their uses are not spirit gathering, but to protect something. Long Fei took a glance at it himself. As expected, you're right. But now, the crux of the problem is how to kill the GU worm in your body. If only I had the insect-killing equipment from my previous life. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes lit up. Pesticides from my previous life. Ha ha ha. I am truly a genius. Awesome, too cool, ha ha ha. What was the insecticide formula? Long Fei didn't know. But with a target, as long as he headed towards that target, it would be fine. Immediately, Long Fei opened the shopping mall of the system and looked around. The omnipotent shopping mall system. Let me feel your magic. Ha ha ha. F***CK. Big bro system. You are invincible. Long Fei looked at an item in the system's merchant shop. Items: chrysanthemum brand fumigant function, cigarette all vermin, wild camp must prepare good medicine. Description: cheap price, sterilization and deworming effect magical, chrysanthemum brand, you deserve to have. Won't it have a miraculous effect if I put the smoke into the pill? Long Fei became spirited and said, President Wu, I'm afraid that my body is unable to refine any pills. I'll leave it to you now, Wu Li said. What are you saying? If you have anything to refine, feel free to say it. Long Fei replied, okay. Long Fei slightly modified the spirit grass that Wu Li analyzed earlier and added a few more wild chrysanthemums. He handed them to Fu Shishan and said, go and purchase them, add more chrysanthemums. Fu Shishan received the pill formula. Qian Yang immediately said, I'll go with you. Fu Shishan did not refuse as the two of them quickly left the secret room. At this moment, Long Fei sat cross-legged and muttered, why can't others quickly level up after consuming spirit-gathering pills? The pubes' GU has already formed a true spirit fruit. If I use my flying sword to kill them, what kind of effect would it produce? Long Fei was eager to give it a try. However, he was afraid that something might happen. It was in his stomach, after all. If he accidentally killed himself, it would be a tragedy. In another place. Elder Hua, good news. There is already a GU worm maturing into a core formation stage. Hua Hong opened his eyes and said, that fast? It was somewhat beyond his expectations. However, Hua Hong slightly said, seems like it can make young master come early. Go and inform the young master that he can enter the East Imperial City tomorrow, and harvest will start in 3 days. Heh heh. Chapter 2891, Getting Started. Chapter 2891, Getting Started. I've broken through level 3. Ha ha ha. I am already at the 6th level of the genuine force. I almost broke through to the spiritual master stage. I have to say that the spirit gathering pill gave us hope. Thank you so much, spirit gathering pill. A pellet from an alchemy master of the gods tribe, how could it possibly be fake? Do you find your body a little unbearable? If you can't handle it, then just eat a few more spirit gathering pills. I can guarantee that you can break through faster. In the streets, in the tea houses and restaurants, old women and young girls, it could be said that everyone in the entire East Imperial City was talking about the spirit-gathering pill. This small pill had brought an enormous sensation to the entire city. Happy that his son had broken through once again. Happy for her husband's breakthrough. He was happy for his father, for his brothers, and for his family's breakthrough. The amount invested into the spirit-gathering pills did not decrease, but rather increased by a lot. The rule that was set previously was that each person would receive one, but in reality, that was just a small talk. Since there's no real name system, you can buy it here and in other places. If you buy it yourself, you can get your family to help you buy it. Thus, most of the time, martial artists that bought them all took several spirit-gathering pills. One psionic condensing pill was completely different from 2 psionic condensing pills. The 2 GU will absorb your true soul more quickly while at the same time, you will create the illusion that you have a faster breakthrough. In fact, the breakthroughs brought by the spirit-gathering pill are all forced to consume profound chi at the cost of your lifespan. It was not a real breakthrough. City Lord's Mansion, Su Clan. Master, I received it. I will be at East Imperial City in 2 days. 2 days, Su Wantu's eyes flashed with excitement. It seems that the Son of Heaven values this meeting a lot. Inwardly, he couldn't hide his joy. The arrival of the Son of Heaven was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him and the Su clan. Su Wantu asked, "How are your preparations?" The elder said, "They are all ready, but as for young miss..." Su Wantu said faintly, "I will go and take care of the matters regarding the young miss. You will be in charge of taking care of the matters, and show the strong side of our Su family, but you can't go overboard." Elder nodded, "Understood. My lord, I'll go make the arrangements." "Right. Sir, the martial artists in the city have been very crazy about the spirit-gathering pills these past 2 days. They have gone a little crazy. As soon as the pill pavilion selling spirit-gathering pills opens, a group of people would come to surround them." "This seems a little strange. Do you want to?" Su Wantu did not wait for him to finish speaking, and directly interrupted him. "The thing you need to consider now is to receive young master, not the spirit-gathering pill. A pill caused a lot of commotion. Wasn't the Zhengling pills the same back then? All right. Hurry up and prepare." Nothing was as important as welcoming the Son of Heaven. Although he was not in the God's Tribe Palace, the Son of Heaven was still in the descendant of God's tribe. As long as this road was properly paved, the Su family would be the hegemon for thousands of years. He was not listening to anything now. The elder immediately shivered. "I will immediately go prepare it." Su Wantu's face was filled with excitement as he looked into the distance. "As long as we have a relationship with the God's tribe, then my Su family will definitely prosper forever, and no one will be able to move it." Ha ha ha. He started laughing excitedly. In another place. In the secret room. No way. Fail. It still won't work. Long Fei constantly checked the pills Wu Li refined every time, but none of them had met his requirements. Either the smoke from the inulin pesticide couldn't be covered, or the gentle power of the pill wasn't enough. This couldn't be blamed on Wu Li. After all, he had never refined such a pill before. The cocoon-shaped parasite on Long Fei's abdomen was still peacefully sleeping. He had a feeling that this cocoon formed from a true spirit pill would only be retrieved by people, and the moment his pubes was taken, it would be torn apart. There was no chance of survival. Thinking about tens of millions of East Imperial City warriors dying, Long Fei's heart sank. Again, Wu Li started refining once again. A few minutes later. Hoo. Wu Li panted heavily, his entire body was drenched in sweat, his face was slightly pale as he said, "I can't hold on, my pubes doesn't have breath of true spirit, and I don't have any physical strength left." After a day and night of concocting, a pill cultivator like Wu Li was simply unable to take it. He was an alchemist. The stamina of a pill refiner was completely different from that of a martial arts training. He had to grit his teeth to endure for an entire day and night. Not everyone was a freak like Long Fei. Fu Shishan walked over and said, "How about I call those elders from the merchant union over?" "No way." Long Fei immediately rejected, and said, "The less people who know about this, the better. Right now, 2/3 of the East Imperial City's warriors have already taken spirit-gathering pills." Fu Shishan said solemnly, "Isn't this person too vicious? Are you trying to destroy the entire East Imperial City?" A mere East Imperial City was nothing in the eyes of the powerhouse. If it's ruined, it's ruined. No one would care. The universal realm was too big, too big. There were countless of cities like the East Imperial City, but no one would care if they were wiped out, because this was the world of the powerhouse. Wu Li said, "I really am not able to, moreover, I have never refined such a pill before. If it's really no good, then let's make it public. Whether they believe it or not is up to them." Long Fei secretly furrowed his brows. Qian Yang lightly said from the side, "It's already too late, now everyone seems to have gone mad, snatching for spirit-gathering pills crazily. Many people are willing to go bankrupt, selling their wives to sell girls, to buy spirit-gathering pills. I didn't believe you at first, But now I do. Also, no one will believe you now, I feel. Dean of Donghuang College told me to tell you that you have to refine the antidote, or else East Imperial City would really be destroyed. Fu Shishan's eyes narrowed, and said, then what do we do now? Long Fei is heavily injured, and even Wu Li is out of energy, tens of millions of pills, how are you going to refine them? A alchemy master wouldn't be able to refine tens of millions of medicinal pellets in his entire life. Long Fei's heart sank. The development of the matter was more difficult than he had expected. However, Fu Shishan's words did remind him. Tens of millions of pills could not be produced in a short period of time. If he wanted to save the warriors in East Imperial City, he could not use normal pills. Huff. Long Fei let out a heavy breath. If tens of millions of pills cannot be refined, then let's just refine one, an incomparably huge pellet. As soon as he finished speaking, Long Fei's mind tensed up, the idea entered the pubes and muttered, killing sword, live until the end, don't let a bug occupy your territory. He was about to make a move. Chapter 2892, The Fear in Su Wantu's Heart. Chapter 2892, The Fear in Su Wantu's Heart. The Jiu coiled around, occupying the pubes. The true qi could not be activated. Long Fei's body was being suppressed. At first, Long Fei did not want to touch it, he wanted to keep it as a test using him. But now that he was too exhausted to use his alchemy, he could only take a risk. Who? Long Fei let out a light breath as the idea moved. Wang. A sword hum rang out. Within his consciousness, the killing sword floated in the air. The cocoon-like golden Jiu did not seem to be aware of the danger. Kill. He gave the order. Long Fei's heart was also tight. In that moment, he also activated Divine Dragon, transforming into Zero Blood Immortal. Crack. Squeak squeak. The killing sword stabbed down. The golden Jiu let out a squeak. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 killing golden Jiu 4, gaining 0 experience, obtaining 60,000 true spiritual value points, and 0 universal value. Rumble. As soon as the system announcement rang out, he completely recovered 6 million points of true spiritual value. In the instant that the golden Jiu died, its body slowly dissipated, and finally completely disappeared. The pubes also resumed its circulation. It was just that. The killing sword slightly trembled. Long Fei could already clearly feel that his injuries were worsening. Besides dealing with the matter of the spirit gathering pill, I have to fix the killing sword as soon as possible. Long Fei secretly said, this was a strand of ancient inheritance. The longer this world dragged on, the weaker it would be. It was with great difficulty that he managed to obtain the ancient inheritance, so he was able to instantly kill all those below the emperor level. Woo! Long Fei spat out a pool of black blood. And then, his complexion returned to a healthy shade of red, and his injuries were all healed as well. Qian Yang was secretly shocked. This brat. What did he just do? Why did it suddenly recover? Fu Shishan was also happy. Long Fei, are you done? Long Fei nodded and said, I'll be fine for now. Long Fei took out 10 Zhongling pills and gave them to Wu Li, saying, quickly recover your true spirit, I still need your help later on. Wu Li looked at the Zhongling pills, a glint flashed across his eyes, and he nodded, amen. After consuming the pill, he sat down cross-legged and began meditating. Huff. Long Fei looked at the chaos in front of the pill furnace. Fu Shishan said, it's already too late, how about we forget about it? Fu Shishan was worried about Long Fei. Long Fei said, no matter what, I want to give it a try. After all, this is related to the lives of everyone in the city, and at this critical moment, no matter what happens I am afraid that they will not be able to stop the attacks of the western regions. Qian Yang was startled, and said, ancient monster? Long Fei said, that's right, I had originally wanted to talk to the city lord about this matter, it's just that. Long Fei smiled and did not continue. Qian Yang said as her gaze tightened, it has always been wormholes, ice plains, Night Valley S, and also the Ghost Cave. Why would there be Western region's ancient monster here this year? Is the news correct? Long Fei nodded and said, There shouldn't be any mistake with the news from the Night Valley. Qian Yang immediately said, "You guys go ahead, I'll go report to the principal. If it really is an ancient monster, then East Imperial City is in danger." Qian Yang was very nervous. He was extremely afraid of the ancient monster. Long Fei did not think too much about it. His focus right now was on how to concoct the pills to suppress the spirit-gathering pill. An idea came to his mind, but before that idea could be realized, he had to concoct a small-scale pill. Bring it on. Long Fei moved, and without any hesitation, he immediately activated the ancient alchemy technique. The ancient alchemy technique's chant also slowly recited in his heart as it began to circulate. A ray of ancient power faintly moved. It covered his entire body. At the same time, he entered the realm of one with the world. A faint glow appeared on his chest. It was not too intense, but the naked eye could see that this was fluorescence of God's tribe's curse mark. It was just that Fu Shishan did not pay attention to all of this. Wu Li was also wholeheartedly thinking about recovering his true soul, so he did not look at Long Fei. Ding. Refinery failure. Ding. Fusion failed. Ding. Fail. Failure. 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 Continuously failing. In his previous life, he had advanced medical equipment. A small pill could kill bugs, but this was a foreign world. It was extremely difficult to make such a pill. Again. I don't believe it. Pills, spirit-gathering pill. Quick, quick, give me the spirit-gathering pill. I want the spirit-gathering pill. Give me the pill. Give me the spirit-gathering pill. I'm willing to offer 10,000 grand mist crystals. I bid 100,000. Child, my child is gone. Has anyone seen my child? Woo woo. East Imperial City was already in chaos. Moreover, the shop that sold the spirit-gathering pills had already closed for the next 2 days. However, the front of the shop was completely surrounded by people. All of them were like sick people, skinny like firewood, black eyes, and weak bodies. They were waiting for the spirit pill. At this moment, their pubes were densely covered in GU worms, and they were still devouring their profound chi and the breath of true spirit in their limbs and bones. Lord, the situation is getting worse and worse. City Lord's Mansion, Su Clan. The Su Clan was decorated with lanterns and decorations, preparing to welcome the arrival of the Son of Heaven. However, Su Wantu was currently frowning deeply. Why is it like this? Hadn't Alchemy Union tested for spirit-gathering pills before? Why is this happening? The old man shook his head. I don't know. The Alchemy Union's president, Lu Yaohe, is about to disappear. What exactly is inside the spirit-gathering pill? Su Wantu asked again. The old man said, I don't know, it's just that the medicinal pellets have a foul-smelling liquid, but it doesn't have any special material injuries. Our alchemy masters are too low, so we can't find any reason. Where are the shops that sell these spirit-gathering pills? They're all gone. It's as if they all disappeared in one night. Master, out of the hundreds of clans in East Imperial City, and our Su family, many disciples consumed spirit-gathering pills. Furthermore, many disciples could not take it anymore. Tens of millions of warriors had all taken it. The Su family's disciples were no exception. Su Wantu's gaze tensed up. The elder continued, in addition, many children have been lost during this period of time. There are already several hundred of them. Su Wantu clenched his fists and said, such a huge thing happened, what about Donghuang College? What's the reaction? The old man looked at Su Wantu, but didn't dare say anything. Su Wantu shouted, speak. The old man said, none of the students of Donghuang College took a spirit-gathering pill. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Wantu's gaze tensed up. What? Not a single one? The old man said, not a single one. It was personally ordered by Dean of Donghuang College, all students who consume spirit-gathering pills are expelled. As long as they are students of Donghuang College, they do not take spirit-gathering pills. Su Wantu's body slightly trembled, as he had a bad premonition in his heart. Chapter 2893, God-Child has arrived. Chapter 2893, God-Child has arrived. Su Wantu did not believe it. He knew quite a lot about the mystical effects of the spirit-gathering pills. If he was a young martial artist, he would still take them for the sake of avoiding detours. However, the students of the Donghuang College actually did not take any spirit-gathering pills. Although the students of the Donghuang College were all from great clans, and the Su family also had a lot of disciples who were cultivating in the Donghuang College, but Su Wantu was still puzzled in his heart. Could it be that Dean of Donghuang College already knew? Or could it be that this was all part of his scheme? That's not right. Even though Dean of Donghuang College is an old fox, he would definitely not take the life of the East Imperial City as a joke at this critical juncture of winter. Seeing the frown on Great Su Wantu's forehead, the old man said, "Master, there was a disciple at the Zhu family who said that he was told not to take the spirit-gathering pill." Su Wantu's gaze darkened, and asked, "Who said it?" The old man said, "It's Long Fei." "Dragon. Long Fei." Su Wantu's pupils abruptly tightened, instantly reminding him of what Long Fei had said. He originally thought it was only a sentence filled with youthful vigor. Originally, he thought Long Fei had come to curry favor with his daughter. She thought Long Fei was just a toad that wanted to eat swan meat. However, at this moment, Su Wantu's heart tightened. A mere brat from the lower realms, no matter how capable he is, it's impossible for him to know that the spirit-gathering pill is harmful. The Su family's alchemy master was also at the 6th level. Even a level 6 alchemy master could not discover any harm. How could Long Fei know? Su Wantu asked again, "Where is Long Fei now?" The old man paused for a few seconds. Su Wantu said impatiently, "Speak." The old man said, after he left the Su family, he was called away by Dean of Donghuang College. That night, along with him was Business Alliance of Fu families Fu Shishan, Donghuang College's great instructor Song Tiancheng, Alchemy Union's president Lu Yaohe, and Vice President Wu Li Giggle. Su Wantu clenched his fists tightly, and his knuckles cracked. The aura emanating from his body was exceptionally oppressive. The old man's face was slightly pale from being forced. He spoke with some difficulty. "It seems like the last time Long Fei came to the Su family was about the matter of the spirit-gathering pills. Lord, we seem to." Su Wantu's pupils constricted as he said solemnly, "Go and investigate the location of these spirit-gathering pills and find out where Long Fei and the rest are." This was no trivial matter. Once something big happened, if the Su clan didn't do anything, then the city lord's position would probably be lost. Su Wantu was too conceited in his life. Long Fei didn't think much of it. Because of Long Fei's identity, if he was allowed to choose again, he would still not choose Long Fei. Even now, Su Wantu did not regret his choice back then. No matter how much a country bumpkin jumped and changed, he was still a country bumpkin. He would never be able to show his face. How could his daughter marry such a man? With a heavy voice, the elder said, "I'll do it right away." "Brat, you think you can beat me like this? Let me wait for you for 3 days. How can you be worthy of a mere kid from the lower realms?" Su Wantu slightly narrowed his eyes, and said coldly, "When the Son of Heaven arrives, the marriage will be set. It can be said that our Su family's position as the overlord of the East Imperial City will never be extinguished." Another day and night passed. Long Fei did not stop for a second as he continued the crazed refining. It was constantly changing, adjusting. His eyes were completely bloodshot, and his body was already severely exhausted. One must know that he did not rest at all during the time of Wu Li's alchemy, nor did he rest for 3 days and 3 nights. General-level warriors could not withstand it at all. Long Fei did not dare to rest. He knew that he was running out of time. "Although I am not a good person, but if I can save a person, then I will save a person." Long Fei thought and shouted once again, "Ancient alchemy technique. Fuse. Ding. System prompt. Fusion successful." As soon as the system announcement rang out, Long Fei's eyes flashed with a bright light, and he said excitedly, "I finally succeeded. Ha ha ha." He looked at the warm pill in his hand. The pill had been infused with insecticide. Although the fusion was a success, but its effect. Fu Shishan had always been by Long Fei's side. Seeing that Long Fei had succeeded, she finally heaved a sigh of relief. Wu Li also woke up and rushed forward. "What about now?" Long Fei said, "Now, I just need a test article." Wu Li asked, "Song Qiancheng?" Long Fei grinned, "It's him." When the few of them reached the underground room, Song Qiancheng sat cross-legged. In these 3 days, he was as thin as a stick, as though he had collapsed. His eyes sunk. The more he cultivated, the faster the breath of true spirit in his body would be absorbed by the Gu. Hearing that voice, Song Qiancheng's eyes opened, looked at Long Fei and immediately said, "You still dare to come? Release me immediately, or else I will take your life." With sinister eyes, he stared straight at Long Fei. "You've turned into this ghost in just 3 days." Long Fei was secretly shocked. He had never left this place. He did not even know what was going on outside. However, seeing that Song Qiancheng had become like this, Long Fei was a little unsure. If even the powerhouse of the senior realm could not control it, then what would happen to those warriors of the general level? Fu Shishan and Wu Li were also secretly shocked. "Humph!" Song Qiancheng heavily shouted, and said, "Brat, this is not yet all thanks to you. You better hurry up and let me out. If I die here, none of you will be able to live." Long Fei grinned and said, "If you want me to let you out, that's fine too. After swallowing this pellet, I'll let you go." Song Qiancheng's gaze darkened. "You want to poison this old man to death?" Long Fei said, "That's right, I want to poison you to death. Do you want to be trapped here to die, or do you want to die from poison? I'll give you 3 seconds to choose." Just as he finished speaking, Long Fei suddenly said, "3, it's time. You want to be trapped here? All right, let's go." With that, Long Fei turned and left. "Wait," Song Qiancheng stared at Long Fei, and said, "How would I know if you would lie to me?" Long Fei laughed. "Do you have a choice?" Song Qiancheng really wanted to cut Long Fei into 1,000 pieces. He gnashed his teeth and said, "All right, I'll take it." Long Fei smiled faintly, and said, "That's strange." After handing over the pellet, Song Qiancheng swallowed it down and said, "Can you open the door now?" Long Fei shrugged his shoulders. "Sorry, I don't have the key. The key is with the principal. Only the principal can let you out." "You." "Long Fei, you will die a horrible death." Song Qiancheng was flustered and exasperated. Long Fei said, "People who hate me are always like that, but your father's life is more nourishing than anyone else's." While talking, Long Fei's eyes were fixed on Song Qiancheng's pubes's abdomen. It was also at this time. Song Qiancheng's eyes suddenly stared wide, his hands covering his throat, struggling on the ground. You, what did you feed me?" "You. Ah. It was incomparably painful. Covering his stomach, he spasmed in frenzy. In the end, he felt his throat churn as he spat out a mouthful of black blood. Long Fei smirked, "Done." At the same time, a guard hurriedly reported, "My lord. He's here. The godchild is here." Chapter 2894. Send me my room at night. Chapter 2894. Send me my room at night. It's a success. When Long Fei saw Song Qiancheng spitting out a pool of black and smelly blood, his heart was finally at ease. He felt as if he was shouldering a heavy burden. This concerned the lives of tens of millions of warriors. Without these millions of warriors, perhaps the East Imperial City would have become a dead city in the dead of winter. Wu Li could not hold back his excitement. It's broken, it's really broken. The way he looked at Long Fei had completely changed. His eyes were filled with reverence and respect. They were both alchemy masters. Wu Li was the clearest what he needed to refine this pellet for it to be possible. If he was unable to do so, he probably wouldn't be able to do so even if he was given another month's time. However, in a day and night, Long Fei succeeded in refining it without any rest. Even if he was exhausted of all his strength and lacking in spirit and energy, Long Fei could only grit his teeth and endure. Rather than saying that his talent was good, it would be more accurate to say that he had to work harder than anyone else. Persistence was what Wu Li admired the most in his heart, perhaps. "What I lack is hard work. Recognize your shortcomings." These 3 days had been an unprecedented opportunity for him. There was a very large increase. Fu Shishan said, "Right now I can only refine one. Outside there are tens of millions of warriors that need pills. What do I do?" There's no way we'll be able to make it in time. Wu Li also followed. Brother Long, if you say there's anything I can do, I will definitely do my best. Right now, he sincerely admired Long Fei. Just a alchemy genius. Even in Wu Li's heart, Zhengling pills were also refined by Long Fei. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up, and he smiled. I need a large number of spirit grass, I need as many as I can get, and the more, the better. The number of spirit grass left in the basement were already in a pile, but it was still far from enough. Fu Shishan said anxiously, it's useless to not be able to refine so many spirit grass. Long Fei revealed a confident smile, and said, relax, with me here, anything is possible. Wu Li completely believed in Long Fei, and said immediately, I will go to Alchemy Union, and have them send all of Alchemy Union's spirit grass here. Fu Shishan also said, all right, I will go collect the spirit grass again. Long Fei said, go and come back quickly, raise as much as you can. Yes. The two of them quickly left the basement. Song Tiancheng slowly recovered his strength and shouted, let me out, quickly let me out, let me out. Long Fei gave a bland smile as he took out another pellet, and said, it's fine if I let you out, but swallow this pellet. Song Tiancheng's eyes opened wide, and immediately scolded, do you think I'm King stupid? You want to lie to me? Long Fei said, you know very well in your heart that if not for that medicinal pellet just now, you would not have lived past a month. What I want to say is, you still have GU worm eggs left in your body. If you don't clean them out, you won't live past a month as well. I'm doing it for your own good. It's up to you whether you want to eat or not. Finished. Long Fei immediately threw the pill into the prison and turned to leave. Song Tiancheng watched Long Fei walk out of the prison and immediately picked up the pellet on the ground. He didn't think too much about it and directly swallowed it with a gulping sound. However, half a second later, Song Tiancheng's face immediately turned the color of pig liver, and her body couldn't help but tremble as the corners of her mouth quivered. Gather, gather, gather spirit pill, again, gather spirit pill. Long Fei, I will kill you. Ah, indeed. What Long Fei had given him was precisely a spirit-gathering pill. He still had to experiment once more. How could Song Tiancheng let go of Song Tiancheng's mouse that easily? It doesn't exist. Hearing Song Tiancheng's loud roar, Long Fei smiled in his heart, and muttered, are you mocking this, Daddy? Damn you, the old man won't be able to toy with you right now. He walked back to the alchemy room. Long Fei began to develop it again. He was like a mad demon again. The East Imperial City was in chaos. Tens of millions of warriors were roaming the streets like zombies. All of them were as thin as firewood. Their vision went dark. They hadn't rested since they swallowed the spirit-gathering pill. The GU worms did not allow them to rest at all, and their limbs and meridians had their true essence sucked away, being crazily absorbed by the GU worm. Many martial artists had already begun to form cocoons within their bodies. On the streets, all those shops selling psionic condensing pills were smashed into smithereens. The people inside were long gone, not a single shadow could be seen, it was as if they had disappeared from the East Imperial City. On the walls of the East Imperial City, Su Wantu looked at the warriors wandering around in the city, his eyebrows secretly tightened, his fists tightened, his eyes filled with dense killing intent. He was the mayor. This was his city. Even if it was the monsters outside the city, he definitely wouldn't be honored to destroy his city. But he couldn't stop it. There was nothing he could do right now. There was nothing he could do. His heart ached. He was hating. Su Wantu said solemnly, don't let me find you, otherwise I will tear you into 10,000 pieces. At this time, behind Su Wantu, a young man dressed in silk clothes with a eye-catching symbol embroidered on his chest, which could be seen from more than 10 meters away. The symbol of the gods' tribe. The man had a faint smile on his face. He took a step forward, looked at those warriors wandering around the city like living dead, and said coldly, the heavens are fair, there are no shortcuts on the path of martial arts, they are the ones who are greedy, and they chose the path themselves. Since they chose it, then they have to bear it. Indifference. The faint smile on his face carried a trace of pride. The look in his eyes was contemptuous. Su Wantu said, you're right, but there are still tens of millions of lives after all. Since we chose the wrong one, does that mean we won't have a chance to change it? The man smiled and said, wrong. You've lost the chance to improve yourself. Suwantu turned his face to the man and said, young noble, you are the descendant of God's tribe, do you have no choice? The man was the son of heaven. They were called Godchild. Godchild said coldly, yes. Suwantu's eyes flashed with a hint of excitement, and said, what method? If you can save the East Imperial City's warriors, then the people from the east of the East Imperial City will remember you and help you erect the longevity monument. Not waiting for him to finish, Godchild interrupted him and said, purify, wash. Suwantu's pupils tightened and his heart sank. Godchild smiled faintly. These greedy villains should not exist in this world. Death is the best choice for them. Easily stated. In his eyes, tens of millions of lives were worse than a dog. Suwantu said, is there any other way? The cold winter is approaching. If you do not have these warriors to guard the East Imperial City, then the East Imperial City will definitely not be able to hold on through this year's cold winter. This was his city. He wanted to save these people. He thought that the Godchild could help him, but it was actually this sort of method. If he killed all these people, then his Su family would be the sinner of the East Imperial City. Godchild looked at Suwantu and said, City Lord Su, your daughter is not bad. She suits my taste, and if you make her obediently serve me, I will make your Su family stay in East Imperial City for 1,000 years, and become a king for all of eternity. Send her to my room tonight. Chapter 2895 Suwantu's Choice. Chapter 2895 Suwantu's Choice. Suwantu frowned. Ha ha ha. Godchild laughed at the sky, saying, City Lord Su, you are a smart person. I know very well what you want. Think about it. Finished. Then he left. A cold wind blew in from outside the city, bringing with it snowflakes and a bone-chilling wind. Winter came. It had already begun snowing within the 10 kilometers of East Imperial City. The winter came earlier than usual this year. Suwantu stood amidst the cold wind, and his robes fluttered uncontrollably. He could not feel the cold, because his body was filled with rage. He stared in the direction that the Godchild had disappeared in, and his eyes narrowed slightly. The killing intent was dense. However, a few minutes later, the killing intent in his eyes gradually disappeared, and finally, not at all. He secretly heaved a sigh of relief in his heart, for the Su family, Su, can only let you down. He took out a space ring from his bosom. This space ring was something that Long Fei asked the person to pass on to Su, but it was in his hands now. Suwantu's eyes moved slightly. In that instant, his figure disappeared. City Lord's mansion. An old man rushed into Suwantu's study and reported softly, Master, I found it. Suwantu put down the official documents, looked up, and said, Have you made it to a place? The old man nodded his head. I found it. It's in the courtyard of Dean of Donghuang College. Business Alliance of Fu Family and Alchemy Union are collecting spirit grass S. They should be refining pills to deal with the spirit gathering pellets. As expected, Suwantu's body started to emit a dense qi. He was extremely displeased in his heart. Dean of Donghuang College, you old fox. And Long Fei. You think you can pull me down just like that? Suwantu said in a deep voice. His expression was ugly. He did not see Long Fei last time. He knew clearly in his heart that Long Fei had come to find him regarding the spirit gathering pill, but he did not regret it. The old man said, Master, now that tens of millions of warriors in the city have been poisoned by the spirit gathering pill, if Long Fei is truly able to create the antidote, then the influence of the Donghuang College will directly surpass our Su family. The Su family and the Donghuang College were always in balance. However, if Donghuang College saved East Imperial City in this matter, then the balance would be broken and the Su family would lose their power. This was something that Suwantu would never allow to happen. Suwantu coldly snorted, and said, So what if you overshadowed the Su family? As long as we have the God's tribe as our backing, even the heavens would have to give way. He had wanted to sacrifice Su to begin with. Now, he had no choice at all. Su Wantu said, I, Su Wantu, have won all my life, and have never lost. This time, I won't lose. Go check again. I want to know if Long Fei has really created an antidote. Humph. You want me to wait for you for 3 days? Brat, you overestimate yourself. In addition, send people to keep an eye on Lan Mai and business alliance of Fu family. Su Wantu's personality was unstoppable. Even if he was wrong, he would be completely wrong. Because he was Su Wantu. He is the East Imperial City's city lord. Big brother Long Fei, where are you? Why didn't you come to see me? Su dragged his cheek, looked up at the sky, and his eyes were filled with longing. She didn't know why. Once, she had fallen for Lung Feng and thought that she liked him. However, after getting to know Long Fei, she realized that what she had before was not like, but a type of infatuated expression. She was completely different from Long Fei, and her heart was always thinking of him. All the time. This was love, this was love. Big brother Long Fei, I missed you so much. Su muttered to himself. He didn't know when. Su Wantu stood behind her and said, You miss him, he doesn't miss you. Otherwise, how could he not come and see you after such a long time? Back then in the Night Valley, if it wasn't for you pleading for me, I wouldn't have let him off at all. Su shook as he turned around and said, Daddy, let me out. I'll go find big brother Long Fei. Su Wantu let out a long sigh, and spoke with a sincere heart. Su, don't tell me you still don't understand. Daddy didn't allow you to leave not because I want to imprison you, but because I want to see what Long Fei is going to do to you. If he returns to the East Imperial City from the Night Valley, would he be able to survive without my protection? I've been giving him a chance, wanting him to come to you, but what? Have he ever come here before, after all these days? You keep thinking about her, but he didn't take you seriously. He's always with Lan Mai and Fu Shishan, and if he really cares about you, then he wouldn't come looking for you. Child, don't be silly. Father is someone who's experienced. He doesn't like you at all. Su Wantu stared at Su. Su's tears were about to flow out. No, big brother Long Fei is not that kind of person. He definitely has me in his heart. Su Wantu said, You are too young, and don't understand men at all. Moreover, for a person like Long Fei who comes from the lower realms, the reason why he approached you is also to make use of you. Su grabbed Su Wantu's arm and said, Father, did you let me out so easily? Let me out, I'll go find him. Su Wantu's eyes darkened, and became slightly angry. Don't tell me you still don't understand. Do you have to do this to yourself? Go and find him humbly. You are my, Su Wantu's, daughter, and you are willing to lower yourself to me, but I am not willing to. Woo. Su immediately burst into tears. He was crying until he burst into tears, and even said, That won't happen, Long Fei would not be like this, he must be busy with some urgent matter. Woo. Su Wantu looked at his daughter who was crying her heart out. Long Fei, you piece of trash. Su Wantu squatted down, took out a space ring from his bosom, and said, Su, this godchild knows that you are unhappy, so he asked me to bring you a special gift. It's something that only exists in the god's tribe palace. You must like it. Let alone Su. It could be said that any girl would like him. Su Wantu was not a woman, but he understood women. No woman could resist such a beautiful outfit. After passing the space ring over, Su Wantu said, Open it and take a look. Godchild has spent a lot of effort to get this gift. Although Su was unwilling, the idea still moved. Seeing the cute elven battle uniform amongst the space ring, her gaze was instantly attracted, and her tears stopped. She said dumbfoundedly, It's so beautiful. Su Wantu was overjoyed, and said, This was made by the clothes maker of the god's tribe, you must be very beautiful when you wear it. Godchild, I would like to treat you to a meal tonight. Let's get to know each other formally. Su shook his head, I don't like him. In my heart, there's only big brother Long Fei. Su Wantu frowned, Can you have some of the Su family's backbone? He doesn't even want you, and you still shamelessly like him? I just wanted to accompany Godchild for a meal, just treat it as giving daddy some face. As long as you go, I'll definitely let you out tomorrow. Su's eyes lit up, took a deep breath in, and said, All right. The hatred in Su Wantu's heart for Long Fei increased yet again. Chapter 2896 Immense Huge Pellets. Chapter 2896 Immense Huge Pellets. Young Master, the leeks are almost grown enough. We can harvest them now. In an underground room. Wearing a purple robe, Hua Hong revealed his yellow teeth, his eyes revealed evil and evil intentions, and the corner of his mouth revealed a proud smile. No rush. Wait till I get the daughter of the mayor. And I heard that last time, Violet Gold Godguard Commander Tian Wu died near East Imperial City. He had a bit of ancient inheritance power on him. If I could get it, then maybe I could become a new Violet Gold Godguard Commander. Godchild laughed sinisterly. His main purpose for coming to East Imperial City was that ancient inheritance. The strongest power of the universal realm was the power of the ancient inheritance. Even though there were still some gods tribes and blood vein in the Son of Heaven, but he was the type of descendant of God's tribe that could only be trained with 8 pillars, and no matter how overflowing the ancient inheritance was, it was not his turn to cultivate. Thus, there was nothing more alluring to him than the power of the ancient inheritance. Hua Hong's eyes lit up. How do I find the power of the ancient inheritance? The corner of the Son of Heaven's mouth curled up as he said coldly, as long as it's in the East Imperial City, we can find it. It's not on those warriors who consume the spirit-gathering pill. It's on those who are still alive. It's definitely in this city. Hua Hong's eyes lit up, and he said in excitement, East Imperial City has a population of hundreds of millions, seems like my evil pill art can be leveled up again, hey. Hua Hong followed Tian Zi the entire time. Hua Hong was very clear about his style in his heart. As long as he made a move, the East Imperial City would become a dead city. Right. Young Master, there's something I need to tell you. The first evil powder formed from the spirit-gathering pill is out of control the next day. I wonder what happened. Hua Hong felt that this matter should still be mentioned. The Son of Heaven didn't take it seriously and said, it's just one. Don't worry about it. There are tens of millions of warriors in the city. After I devour all the evil powder in their bodies, it'll be enough for me to cultivate for another year. My cultivation will definitely break through to the 6th level of the Emperor realm. Cultivation? It was too time-consuming. The Son of Heaven didn't want to spend so much time on his training. The process of devouring others was an ancient technique, and as long as he could master this technique, his training would be much easier. Hua Hong snickered. Godchild also laughed coldly. All right, you guys continue preparing, I'll go take a trip to the Su family. Hua Hong nodded and said, understood. In the research lab, Song Tiancheng's face paled as he once again swallowed a spirit-gathering pill. His pubes was almost instantly seized, and the true essence within his 4 limbs and 100 bones were crazily sucked away. He couldn't control it at all. He directly knelt in front of Long Fei and said, Long Fei, I am in the wrong. I apologize to you, I shouldn't have said that to you, and I shouldn't have laughed at you. He deserved Lu Yaoha's death, and I will definitely not tell others. I beg you, give me the antidote, I beg you. He was truly afraid. It was not because he was afraid of Long Fei, but that the insect in his body would suck him out. Long Fei smiled faintly, and said, aren't I here? Song Tiancheng's face lit up, and said, thank you, thank you. Long Fei took out a pellet that he had just refined. He had made a lot of improvements, but he did not know the exact effects yet. Song Tiancheng's eyes shone brightly as he looked at the pill. Give it to me, give it to me. Long Fei laughed, with a light squeeze of his fingers, white smoke floated out from the pill and was immediately thrown outside the door. Song Tiancheng's eyes darkened. No, no, Long Fei, you cannot do this, you cannot treat me like this, you will die a horrible death. Exceptionally agitated and furious, Long Fei did not leave, but chose to carefully observe every single one of Song Tiancheng's actions. In his heart, he was secretly worried, if this pellet did not have any effect, then he could only refine them one by one. If the number of people that can be saved does not exceed 1,000, no matter what you do, Long Fei will try his best to save them. Long Fei, I beg of you, please save me. Long Fei, you will die a miserable death. Long Fei, I will kill you. Long Fei. He was shouting non-stop. Long Fei was indifferent, he had been looking at this Xiao Bai mouse the entire time. 3 minutes later. Song Tiancheng's expression suddenly changed, his eyeballs were about to explode. With a wah sound, he spat out a large mouthful of stinky black blood, and his entire body relaxed, as though he had put down a heavy burden. The corner of Long Fei's mouth quirked upwards. He was secretly excited as he said, "Success." He immediately walked out. Song Tiancheng also reacted and said loudly, "Let me out, let me out. Add the spirit grass. Add it. More. Not enough, not enough. Still not enough. I need more." Long Fei kept urging them, and Fu Shishan and Wu Li frantically gave out all kinds of spirit grasses. Long Fei was still alright. Fu Shishan and Wu Li were both sweating profusely. Especially Wu Li, he stared at the floating spirit liquid on Long Fei's palm. He felt as though he had heard a fantasy, and his entire being was stupefied. How can there be a alchemy technique that doesn't use a alchemy furnace? How did you refine it? Too strong. It's really too strong. If it wasn't for the fact that it was inappropriate for Long Fei to disturb him at alchemy, he really would have kneeled down and taken Long Fei as his master. The shock that Long Fei gave him was getting bigger and bigger. Continue. Faster. Continue. Long Fei was still urging them to hurry up. At this moment, in his palm, there was an incomparably large spirit liquid whirlpool that was like a small house. It was an incomparably huge medicinal pill, an unprecedented one. The true soul in his palm continued to burn. This was only something Long Fei could handle with more than 8 million true chi points. Otherwise, no one would be able to withstand it. Everyone in the room was dumbfounded. Was this called alchemy? This was a miracle. This pill was about to go up in the sky. Qian Yang was also dumbstruck. Dean of Donghuang College, who was standing quietly at the door, had a stupefied expression on his face. The shock he felt in his heart was too intense. Now I know why Mu clan is looking for him. If he is a member of my clan, I will find him at all costs. He. Genius. No, genius is not enough to describe him. Demon level, super demon level genius. This year's factory sec test is about to give my Donghuang College a chance, even if I can't compare with his martial arts training, but in terms of alchemy, I can definitely get a placing, ha ha ha. The value of the death-free order was too high. Dean of Donghuang College was ecstatic, as if he had picked up a treasure. In another place, under Su Wantu's insistence, Su Su changed into the elf armor. He looked cute and mischievous, and every inch of his skin was emitting a tempting aura that could cause others to stare. At least. The moment the Son of Heaven saw Su Su, he was stunned. "Beautiful, she's too beautiful," Su Wantu said. "Su Su, accompany the Son of Heaven well. I'll go get busy." Chapter 2897, The Explosion of Elf Armor. Chapter 2897, The Explosion of Elf Armor. I've long heard that Miss Su is the #1 beauty of East Imperial City. Seeing her today, her reputation is well deserved. Let alone East Imperial City, even in the entire Western regions, there hasn't been a woman as beautiful as you. The Son of Heaven did not hesitate to praise. What he said was also the truth. He was now completely captivated by Su Su. He had seen countless beauties, and it could be said that the ones that entered his eyes were as rare as phoenix feathers or unicorn horns. The person that could make him praise them like this, Su Su, was the first. Of course. This was because of the elven battle uniform. Make Su Su beautiful. It was to show off her playfulness and cuteness. The moment she put on the elf armor, even she was stunned. How could there be such beautiful clothes in this world? It was completely tailored for him. She did not believe that this was a gift from the godchild, because after putting on the elf armor, she felt a very familiar aura which made her heart warm. At the same time, she couldn't help but think of a man for herself, Long Fei. Her instincts told her that this set of clothes was made by Long Fei. However, she could not guarantee because her father said that Long Fei had never come to the Su Palace to look for her. Su Su slightly said, "Thank you, Xian Zai. The 10 great beauties of the East Imperial City are much prettier than me." The Son of Heaven said, "I've seen everything except for the blue demoness. She is incomparable to you. Also, they are not as holy as you." Su Su's eyes turned cold. No matter how ignorant she was, she knew what the words holy meant, and changed the topic. Thank you for the godchild's gift. However, I'm really sorry. I will return this to you tomorrow. As he spoke, Susu got up to leave. Godchild's face was displeased, the corners of his mouth slightly hooked up as he said indifferently, Miss Sue, you left so soon? You didn't even drink with me. While they were talking, Godchild raised his wine cup and gave it to Susu. I'll let you leave after drinking this cup of wine. There was lust on his face. Anger was building up in his heart, and he felt very, very unhappy. Because no woman had ever dared to refuse him. He had always been the one tired of playing, and no woman had ever rejected him. Who is he? He was someone who possessed the god's tribe's blood vein. If it wasn't for Susu shocking him and making him not want to hurt her, he would have slapped her right away. Susu took the cup and said, once I finish drinking, will I be able to leave? Godchild said, I will keep my word. You can leave after drinking. Susu did not hesitate, downed the wine in one gulp, put down the cup and turned around to leave. Godchild did not urge him to stay. Instead, he smiled obscenely at Susu's back and muttered some numbers. 1, 2, 3. Fall down. Plop. Susu's body sank slightly, his legs went soft, he staggered, and fell on the ground. His head was dizzy, as though he was being pressured by some kind of power, and he felt very uncomfortable. What did you give me to drink? Ha ha ha. The godchild leisurely walked up and said, how can a woman that my son of heaven has his eyes on escape? Walking to Susu's side, he noticed Susu's exposed white thighs, his eyes revealed a lustful look, and said, third stage of bewitching powder, how about it? It's great, isn't it? Susu had a splitting headache, and said, you dare treat me like this, this is the Su family. Ha ha ha. So what if it's the Su clan? The entire universal realm is my god's tribe, what can a small Su family do? Also, Godchild sneered, your father gave you to me. You still don't know. Susu's body trembled as he said, no, it's not like that. My father would never do that. He wouldn't. Godchild's gaze dropped as he looked at Susu's chest through the cracks in his clothes. His Adam's apple rolled as he lifted his wine cup and gulped it all down, his body looking as though it was on fire. Little beauty, come on, ha ha ha. While speaking, Godchild was about to hug Susu. Susu's idea moved, and said solemnly, Big brother Long Fei, save me, save me. Bam! A loud sound echoed out. Godchild's body suddenly retreated, both his hands had become numb from the impact. With a long drag of his feet, several thick bluestone floors had already shattered. The space between Godchild's eyebrows tightened, a spirit treasure for protection? Humph. I would like to see just what kind of soul treasure can protect you. In an instant, Godchild channeled the power in his hands. Wung, wung. Two muffled booms rang out in the air. He rushed to Susu's side and fiercely grabbed downwards with both hands. Boom, boom. The elf armor formed into a halo of light, directly blocking the powerful hands of the Son of Heaven, and it was difficult for it to advance even a little bit. Azure Dragon Defense. The automatic defense system on the elf armor activated. It was a bit different from the phoenix cloth. Its defense was one that was extremely strong in a short period of time, but it could not last for too long. The Son of Heaven was forced to retreat again. His face twisted, and he said with even more annoyance, I still can't do it. Boom. His figure disappeared. His hands formed claws in the air and heavily clawed downwards. Break for me. The voice roared. The Son of Heaven was already in the bath, and he could not wait a second longer. It was just that. The entire Su family was shaken. Su Wantu was also worried and ran into the courtyard to see the Son of Heaven falling from the sky. His expression suddenly changed. Boom, boom. In an instant, the Emperor's chi on Su Wantu's body exploded forth, his body moved, his palms striking out. Godchild, why are you doing this? The two palms faced off. Buzz. Rumble. The sound of air exploding rang out, as countless strength stripes shot out. Su Wantu consecutively retreated with explosive speed, his vital energy and blood tumbling below his chest, as well as his internal organs. The Son of Heaven also retreated a few steps, staring at Su Wantu coldly. Scram to the side. Su was extremely weak as he said, "Daddy, save me." Su Wantu's eyes tightened, and said, "Godchild, what did you do to my daughter? How did she become like this?" Tianziyin said coldly, "How dare you, little slut, reject me? No woman has ever dared to reject me. What did you do?" "Humph. She's been poisoned by me. Either stay with me tonight, or you will see her die from the pain." The Son of Heaven once again walked towards Su. He couldn't tolerate it. The corners of Su Wantu's eyes twitched as his anger billowed. At this moment, the Su clan disciples and elders surrounded the small courtyard. Looking at Su's painful expression, Su Wantu said heavily, "Today, if you dare touch my little girl, I won't let you leave the Su family." The Son of Heaven did not have any fear. He coldly smiled and glanced at the audience. The situation was not good. He looked at Su Wantu and disdainfully said, "Su Wantu, you want to fight with me? All right. When the time comes, you will bring your daughter along to kneel before me and beg me." Ah, ha, ha. His figure moved, disappearing all of a sudden. Chapter 2898, Su poisoned. Chapter 2898, Su poisoned. After all, the Su family was the overlord of the East Imperial City. There were many experts in the Su family, and Su Wantu was even more of a royal realm. Godchild did not dare to stay. Furthermore, now that things had reached such a stage, Su Wantu would definitely not give his daughter to him in front of the entire clan. However, Godchild's heart was filled with anger. He must definitely take revenge. His figure disappeared. Su Wantu's heart secretly sank. He took a step forward and wanted to call out to the Son of Heaven, but he had already disappeared, and also, the elders of the Su family were all present. How could they tolerate Godchild treating Su like this? "Father, you really sold me to Godchild? Is this true?" Su's voice was incredibly weak. Her face was pale. The pubes in his stomach even felt a sharp pain. It was also because of this sharp pain that she didn't immediately faint from the poison. Su looked at Su Wantu's eyes. Su Wantu did not answer and instead shouted, "Bring young miss back to her room." Two maids quickly walked out and supported Su to leave quickly. Su was still struggling to answer. "Father, are you selling me out?" Tears streamed down his face. Su Wantu also felt a burst of heartache. He didn't expect the Son of Heaven to break his hand this easily. Su was his daughter, so no matter what, he would still feel uncomfortable. Seeing Su crying so loudly, Su Wantu's heart was filled with rage, and he clenched his fists tightly. An elder of the Su family walked over with a frown on his forehead as he said, "Big brother, if we offend the Godchild now, what should we do?" "Yeah. Offending the Godchild at this critical moment, the East Imperial City is in a state of chaos. If the Donghuang College is truly able to find the antidote for the spirit gathering pill, then the Su family's status will plummet. If the wall falls, then everyone will push it. Once our Su clan goes downhill, I'm afraid many clans will take advantage of this. We should not be facing the Godchild at this time. With his deterrence, forget about the East Imperial City. Even the overlord of the western regions would not dare to touch us." The Su clan elders started discussing. Right now, they were a lot worried that the East Imperial City and Su family had never been afraid of anyone before, but the Godchild. They couldn't afford to offend him. Su Wantu said solemnly, "Am I supposed to just watch as he ruined Su? In front of the entire Su family? How could he not want to curry favor with the Godchild?" The reason he asked Su to accompany him for a meal was also to make them more suitable. Regardless of whether or not Su could become the wife or woman of the Godchild in the end, it was at least a type of relationship, an identity. Nobody dared to underestimate someone who had a relationship with the God's tribe. But the way Godchild ate was too unsightly. How long had it been since he'd drugged her? Not only did he drug her, he even killed her. What was this? Even if Su Wantu was thinking of a match, he wouldn't be able to tolerate it. It was just that. Now that he thought about it, Su Wantu felt a bit of regret in his heart. Since the situation is already like this, The most important thing to do now is to think of a plan. What can we do? Offending the gods tribe, not to mention our small Sioux family, even hegemon-level powers cannot afford to offend them. Patriarch, you are the leader of the Sioux family, you should think about the future of the Sioux family. After all, your daughter needs to be married off, and it is only a matter of time before your daughter is taken to bed by someone. One day earlier, a day later, whether it be using knockout drugs or using forceful methods, in the end, you must be. Without waiting for him to finish, Su Wantu's expression became abnormally gloomy. She took a step forward and immediately grabbed the elder's neck and raised him up to the air. Try saying half a word more. The elder was so scared that his face turned pale and his throat felt like it was about to be crushed. He didn't even dare to move, let alone speak. The faces of the surrounding elders also darkened, not daring to say another word. Humph! Su Wantu threw hard, and the elder immediately flew 5 meters away. It was also at this time. A maid ran over in a panic and anxiously said, "Master, quickly go take a look." Mrs. Face turned green, then red, then gold, then black. It is extremely painful, and she is screaming non-stop. Su Wantu's gaze tensed up. Su. In that instant, his figure disappeared. His speed was extremely fast. In a few seconds, Su Wantu rushed over to Su's room and rolled on the bed. His expression was extremely unsightly, just like the servant girl had said, as her expression kept changing. "Dad, it hurts. It hurts, Dad." Pain. Su's entire body was covered in cold sweat, his hands covering his stomach, while he continued to struggle. Su Wantu immediately shouted to the outside, "Go get a doctor, quick, quick." At the same time, Su Wantu muttered to himself as he moved his palms, "Wong." A green fluorescent light scattered from his body, enveloping Su's entire body. Cure. The Sioux clan's secret technique that had been passed down for 1,000 years. Su Wantu's cure was the Sioux family's highest grade. When he had slightly used it just now, the entire room had become filled with true spirit energy, and the cure enveloped Su. Su felt a lot more comfortable. However, before he could hold on for more than 10 seconds, Su's eyeballs popped out again as his entire body started to struggle again. Father. It hurts, it hurts. Su Wantu's eyes tensed up as he continuously activated the cure. "Don't be afraid, Father is here, don't be afraid." Seeing Su struggling on the bed, Su Wantu's heart felt like it was pierced by 1,000 needles. It was extremely uncomfortable and he felt even more regretful for what he had done tonight. The family was important, but daughter is more important. Seeing her daughter like this, Su Wantu wished that he could take this suffering in place of his daughter. More than 10 seconds passed. Su felt intense pain all over his body. He couldn't withstand it at all. To her, it was as if her body was being continuously torn apart. Her father's cure could only allow her to alleviate the pain in a few short seconds. Moreover, the cure enveloped her body and she immediately absorbed it. Su Wantu couldn't help but let her tears flow as well, continuously releasing the cure, and comforted her. "It's not painful, not painful. Daddy is here, he'll be fine, he'll definitely be fine." Buzz, buzz, buzz. It was continuously released without stopping once. "Physician? Where's the physician?" Su Wantu suppressed his anger and said solemnly. 2 old men practically stumbled their way in, seeing Su's constantly changing expression. One of the doctor's face immediately darkened. Using his fingers to form a vein, his expression changed as he said, "Master, it's the same poison as the spirit gathering pill, but the poison in Miss' body is 100 times stronger than spirit gathering pills." Su Wantu's pupils contracted as sharp as needles. The temperature in the room suddenly dropped, becoming incomparably cold. The 2 maidservants immediately knelt on the ground. "Sire, there is nothing wrong with the young lady's food, it really isn't us, it isn't us." Su Wantu said solemnly, "Drag him out for me, and call them until they say. Investigate it immediately. Anyone who has come into contact with the young mistress, lock them up. You must find out who poisoned them." The flames of fury were burning. The doctor said, "Sir, young miss was poisoned not long ago. If not for your cure, I'm afraid young miss would already." At this moment, Su Wantu growled through gritted teeth. Godchild. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.